1041 FM. A beautiful signal. It's beautiful. You can listen to all over the bi-state area. You can also take us with you wherever you go on the Odyssey app. I use that like running, walking, grocery shopping, doing yard work, whatever you are doing, you can take us with you on the Odyssey app. You can also follow us on Twitter at Chris Amy KMOX. We love to hear from you there. We also will be asking your opinion today. It has to do with the Cardinals.
Yes.
It might have to do with David Freese.
Uh-huh.
So we need your texts at 314-436-7900. You can also leave us a voice message on the Odyssey app on the KMOX main page. There's a microphone icon. Super easy to leave us a message there.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
We've got a tariff pause.
Oh, my.
So President Trump has paused the tariffs for 90 days, except for the tariffs on China. To get more information on what exactly this means and how this came about, we'll chat with Major Garrett, CBS Chief Washington correspondent.
And today is the start of the greatest sports week of the year. I'm kidding. What for those golfers it is. The Masters begins today. We'll visit with our own KMOX golf reporter, Dan Reardon, about the Masters, as he's covering it's like third decade of the Masters. I'm so jealous of him.
And the St. Louis Cardinals, they lost to the Pirates last night, 2-1 in 13 innings. The Cardinals have played a lot of baseball, and unfortunately, a lot of those games have ended in losses as of late. The Blues lost to the Edmonton Oilers 4-3.
And that broke the winning streak?
The winning streak was broken against the Winnipeg Jets. So now they have a 2-game losing streak.
Yesterday afternoon, I got together with my cohort, John Hancock, and we played snooker. He hadn't done it in several weeks and was itchy. So I took him out there to play with him for a little while. I did win 4-1, Amy. I don't like to talk. But we wound up watching. Yeah? What's that?
No, keep going.
We wound up watching the end of the Cardinal game together, and I do believe their dismal performance there in the extra innings may have affected Hancock's focus on the game.
That's fair.
It was helpful.
He takes it personally.
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
Now, you beat Hancock.
Yes.
But historically, didn't he normally beat you?
Me. I mean, I'm usually Tashar Jones and he's Kara Spencer. But yesterday, the tables were turned. Now, listen, I haven't played in 2 months. I've been able to avoid it.
Yeah.
He hasn't played in several weeks. He knows what he's doing. I just have dumb luck on my side.
Mm-hmm.
So, but, today, tomorrow, I get to gloat a little bit. Gosh knows John never gloated.
No, because you he's not one to talk. That's
never.
The thing about John. Well, but you will play tomorrow. Per usual?
Well, who knows? It all depends, I'm supposed to get my hair cut tomorrow. How often do you get your hair cut?
Not enough.
Really?
I don't like doing it.
You don't?
It takes forever because I get it cut, but then I also get the color improved. I guess it's it's not highlights. I guess it's lowlights. I don't know. My natural color is what they call dishwater blonde or mousy. A little mousy. And so I try to make it a little bit browner, like make the brown a little bit deeper. But for some reason, it takes hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
And it is so expensive that getting my hair done might be the least favorite thing that I do.
So it's every 3-4 months, maybe?
Oh, I'll go once a year.
Oh, once a year.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's why I don't change the color because I don't want it to grow out. I don't want to have to deal with it. I want it to be low maintenance.
So the color thing is not an issue for me if you're watching us on the stream.
Yeah.
I've had white hair since I was in high school. My hair grows like a chia head, like a chia pet. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so it's about once that 30 to 45 days hits, man, if I haven't gone and dealt with it, I'm going to start looking like Fletch, when he's running down shooting the baskets in the movie. It's not good.
Not good?
No.
So you're getting it tomorrow?
I'm supposed to tomorrow afternoon.
It doesn't look bad.
That's because I've got all this gunk on it, holding it down.
And
by the way, did you check out your 401k? It has been held down as of late, but yesterday, man, it went up quicker than a roller coaster ride.
Yeah. So Trump has announced a pause on the tariffs, except for China. Those tariffs will stay on.
People were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, they were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid.
I guess what he's saying is we had the yips because everyone's 401ks plummeted.
Yeah.
Yippee.
Yippee, yeah.
Little yippee.
Yeah, they got the yips, little yippee.
Who talks like that? I mean, besides him, like yippee. I mean,
I don't know.
sounds
will
like
say-
Thurston Howell. Hello, Fluffy.
If he weren't so consequential,
yeah,
it would be the funniest SNL character. But he's consequential. But people had the yips because
right.
their 401ks plummeted. Businesses, I mean, so many CEOs were freaking out.
10% of our market value lost in almost 3 days. It didn't make any sense. And I think what the problem is, Amy, and by the way, the pause shows this, is that everybody says that Donald Trump has a plan, and there's a grand plan here, etc. But when you have this tariffs on, tariffs off, tariffs on, tariffs off, the yin and the yang, the yo-yo of the market, you do put in this uncertainty, which I hate that word. They overuse it on the financial channels. But you have this uncertainty that puts everything into a spiral, and here we are for 90 days. Okay, so now we're going to negotiate with these people again, and maybe we're not going to go through this in 90 days. I don't understand what the long-term plan is. And the American worker who was told we were going to fix inflation, that we were going to bring prices down, we were going to save your 401k, is now facing steeper prices and a slowing economy. This isn't what they were promised.
Yeah. No, it's not. And I don't think there is a bigger plan. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't think there is a bigger plan. And the pause on the tariffs, I'm grateful for it because historically, tariffs have never worked. They've been disastrous economic policies. And I said, really, a lot of people defending these tariffs are using the same reasoning that pro-socialists use. You know how when you point to all of the failed socialist nation states, or how it's spiraled out of control or turned into communism or made people poorer, it's always at socialism. Well, it wasn't implemented correctly, right? It was user error.
Right.
That's kind of the argument that's being used now in favor of tariffs. It's like, well, it was user error before with tariffs. It's not that tariffs themselves blanket tariffs are a bad policy. We've talked about the nuances of some targeted tariffs, how those can be used, but the blanket tariffs have never been a good policy. I don't think there is a plan. I'm grateful for the pause because when you look at the potential consequences of all of these tariffs, you can say, okay, maybe somehow this will work out okay. Maybe he backs down a bit. Maybe he pauses the tariffs and keeps pausing them in perpetuity, and there are negotiations. Maybe it will work out okay. If it does, it wasn't a plan.
No.
It's just kind of like, I think he's responding.
It was a disruption.
Yes, it was a disruption. And okay, bear with me here. This is what I thought yesterday, all of yesterday, because now, the Dow surged nearly 3,000 points. The S&P 500 shot up almost 10%, right? So you see all of this. There's a movie with Sandra Bullock, While You Were Sleeping, with Bill Pullman. And Bill Pullman is Jack, but his brother is Peter. Peter is the handsome, wealthy guy that always wears a suit. Peter is very, very wealthy. People love Peter. Now, Peter was kind of a serial adulterer as well, like to get around with the ladies, and was really, really a scoundrel.
Oh.
But people loved him because he wore a suit. He talked a big game. He was something of a scoundrel. He had that energy. They also liked him because when he was a little boy, he saved some baby squirrels. And they honored him for saving the baby squirrels. And it wasn't until toward the end of the movie that you find out that first Peter took a rock and threw it at the baby squirrels in the nest, knocked them out of the tree, injured them, and then he nursed them back to health. And I would like to think that the economy was the baby squirrels in the tree.
Oh my!
And
Amy.
then Trump
threw
the
rock?
tariffs, threw the rock at the baby squirrels, and now he's nursing them back to health.
So it was a made-up problem.
Yes, by pausing the tariffs and the stock market going back up, he's fixing a problem that he created.
Right.
It's the baby squirrels in the tree.
Absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see how he and his family might have done yesterday in the markets. I mean, who knows? That's the kind of stuff they would allege
Now,
about Sleepy Joe Biden.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Elon Musk was pushing back against the tariffs and then got into it with Peter Navarro, which led Carolyn Leavitt, the White House press secretary, to say, well, boys will be boys.
So I see two things that are interesting. Number one, we're taking the world's economy and literally putting it on a yo-yo, and we're at the whim of whatever the president is thinking that day. So there's a political conversation, right? Whether or not Congress is going to get back involved in tariffs. There's also this question of the thing that I find most interesting is people that I have grown up watching my whole life. Lindsey Graham is a perfect example, who've preached against these very policies, who now not are only embracing these policies, are saying those who object to them are wrong. And here I am, Rand Paul, and I'm watching Rand Paul on CNBC, and I'm agreeing with this man. I don't agree with much that Rand Paul has to say these days. Or for goodness sakes, Ted Cruz, who's coming out from and speaking this way. But then to watch everybody else and, march this march, I don't get it. And I don't understand what the larger plan is.
I think objectively, like I said, someone was calling me names yesterday, Michael, because they said I wasn't conservative because I was not thrilled.
Being
with the
anti-tariff is the most conservative position you could have.
I love free trade, right? And that's what I said. I go, listen, you can love.
I'm the anti-free trader here,
right? He's the communist, not me,
right?
But I said, like, you can love the tariffs and love Trump. That's fine. But I'm a conservative. That's why I'm against the tariffs. Like, I'm at least staying true to my principles, because guess what organization had multiple stories and articles about how damaging tariffs are? The Heritage Foundation.
Yeah, that's that left-wing institute, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my.
Which they took down those articles.
Right.
They took them down. And that's the thing that bothers me is, like, let's not pretend here.
What are we giving up our principles for?
Yeah.
This is part of my argument of what's happened as a Democrat in the city of St. Louis. Like, hey, I am wanting to solve some of these other problems. I want to deal with the injustices, but goodness gracious, we have to make the trains run. And it's when you go blind, and I would argue that there's a percentage of people, even on the here in the city, that have gone blind, that they're only thinking about these not extremists, but aspirational things. Same thing. That people are so bought up into what Donald Trump is up to that even when he has a bad idea, they're jumping off the cliff with them. Lemmings, one might say.
Okay, he's Michael Kelley. I'm Amy Mark Scores. We're going to move past the tariffs now.
Thank goodness.
We're moving past the tariffs. Maria Kina had a story this morning about the Meta whistleblower and Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri, really asking her a lot of questions about Meta. I really like the way Josh Hawley has taken on big tech. We're going to talk about that. But even better, if you're like, Amy's an idiot, she's wrong. You're right. I disagree with myself about something that has to do with David Freese and the Cardinals. We're also going to talk about that in a few minutes.
Oh, man.
You don't want to miss a second of this show. Wait to hear this. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Hi, this is Steve Butts with the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. I know we're all experiencing sticker shock when you get your insurance premium. Now more than ever, you need an independent insurance agent to find the best value for your family's insurance needs. Crawford Butts, family owned and operated for more than 60 years. Please give us a call at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
I'm Rhett.
And I'm Link.
And we're the hosts of the podcast Ear Biscuits. We're just two lifelong friends who've been talking about life for a long time.
From being dads to businessmen to all the random things we experience, nothing is off limits.
And now we're talking to you. We're answering your questions, giving advice that you may or may not want to take and listening to your hilarious stories.
So leave us a voicemail to be part of the show at
1-888-EARPOD1 on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Are you a small business owner who needs immediate cash flow? At Swish Funding, we have flexible funding options from $25,000 to $2 million. For the best rates and terms for your business, just one application to Swish Funding gives you access to our entire network of funders with cash in your account in as little as 24 hours. To qualify, you must be in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000. Apply at swishradio.com and use code FAST. Swishradio.com, code FAST.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Tom Ackerman here. Busey Bank proudly recognizes the Glen Ed Pantry as a building community partner for the services and food they provide to more than 250 families in the Edwardsville School District each month. Food insecurity severely impacts every part of a family's life. More than 600 volunteers and donors make it possible for the pantry to fulfill their mission to provide food and services with dignity and respect. Learn more at glenedpantry.org. That's glenedpantry.org.
This is Rob Schwartz, Senior Vice President of Busey Bank. The Glen Ed Pantry, our community promise partner, is building a brighter future, a new home for Glen Ed Pantry built by the community for generations to come. The need is growing, and your help is vital to make this vision a reality. Learn all about the campaign at glenedpantry.org. That's what building community is all about. Join Busey. Get involved as we continue building the communities we call home.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at $119. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and tell them that KMOX sent you. Spell it forward, spell it backward. It's always the same, Zero Res.
This May, the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup is coming back to St. Louis. Join us at Energizer Park for the round of 32 as St. Louis City SC plays for this historic trophy. Get tickets now at stlcity.com/Open Cup.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about i3 Broadband. Are you thinking about upgrading your internet in your home? Probably a pretty good decision to do so if maybe you're with the cable company or you're with some of those big companies. i3 Broadband, it's amazing. They provide the home internet at my home. Super fast. They always mirror their upload and download speeds, which is a really big deal. You won't realize how much faster your internet can be. Plus, it's reliable. The customer service is great. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Put your address in at i3broadband.com.
104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Stronger than ever.
Well, let's take a look at the play. He is actually 6'5" with the Afro 6'9". Pretty good dribbler. Comes in deep. His club is behind by 1 point at this stage. Fletch comes in, puts the ball through the lights. What a great play. And he puts it up and in, and the Lakers have the lead.
I could have gotten drafted if I'd have grown my hair out in high school.
That was Michael Kelley. Yeah, because during the mayoral election results, you and your partner, John Hancock, on Fox 2 News, and you had the wild hair going.
It was a little out of control. By the end of the day, all that product you have to put in there to tame this mess.
I think it made you look more legit.
Yeah.
Because people looked at him like, wow, look at this guy. He has had a rough couple days. You looked good. You didn't look like you had a rough couple days. You know how in the disaster movies, the guy with the crazy hair and all the papers falling everywhere is the only guy that gets it?
Yeah.
I love that guy. I feel like that guy most of the time. Not that I get it, just that my papers are falling everywhere.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah. It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess. It's not pretty.
No.
Beat it down.
I think it's very, very pretty.
All right,
Something that's really ugly, though.
Yeah.
Michael.
What's going on with China?
Yeah. So Sarah Wynne Williams, she was a former global policy director at Meta/Facebook. She worked on a team that handled China policy issues. And she wrote a book recently, which is now a bestseller, really exposing the ugly underbelly of Meta and those types of companies. And she said that Meta is willing to undermine national security and betray American values to build a censored version of Facebook in China. Now, she wrote this book. Meta has tried to stop her from being able to promote it, but she testified in front of a Senate committee yesterday, and Missouri's own Josh Hawley had a lot of questions for her.
Now, is that true? Facebook, Meta is not doing business in China. Is that accurate?
That is not accurate, Chairman Hawley.
Why has Facebook, Meta been so obsessed, if I can use that word, with breaking into the Chinese market? What is this all about?
It is incredibly valuable for Meta.
Monetarily.
Absolutely.
Have you ever known Mark Zuckerberg to censor on behalf of China?
Yes, Chairman Hawley.
Facebook shut down this dissident's page. This dissident, as you pointed out a moment ago, was living on American soil at the time. Facebook shut down that page based on pressure from the Chinese Communist Party. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
Let's just take a look here at the documents. So here we have evidence of high-level contacts between Chinese Communist Party officials and Facebook asking for this dissident's page to be taken down. Facebook acknowledging this pressure, saying we need to do something if we want to get the party's cooperation, the government's cooperation. And what happened next?
Well, Senator Hawley, one thing the Chinese Communist Party and Mark Zuckerberg share is that they want to silence their critics. I can say that from a personal experience. So I think they came to the right man. This led to a series of events where eventually this man on American soil was kicked off the platform.
So what Sarah Wynne Williams is saying there, basically, that for all of their big talk about free speech and not working with China, behind the scenes, Mark Zuckerberg and the executives at Meta were negotiating, working with, complying to, bowing down to China's censorship demands in order to build an $18 billion market in China. The dissident they're talking about is a Chinese citizen who was on U.S. soil and was really spreading the truth about one of the most murderous regimes in the world, maybe perhaps the most murderous regime right now in the world when it comes to lack of human rights, torture, death, the Uyghur concentration camps, right? And so just the scale of the Chinese Communist Party. And he was talking about those things, and she's saying that Meta, at the behest of the Communist Party of China, shut down his account so that they couldn't get those truths out there.
Do you think that's surprising?
No.
I mean, it's not surprising to me. First of all, this is a corporation, right? It's out for money. I'm not justifying their behavior. But the second largest market on the world, and arguably is going to be the first largest market in the world here once these billion plus people have the spending power. It's not surprising. We put regulations on TikTok that they can't do this thing, and foreign companies. It's problematic to me that they took somebody's Facebook stuff down here when they were in the United States. I don't like that Meta is cooperating with China, but I don't find it to be shocking. I think these people who run these companies are soulless.
Yeah.
They're about the money. They're not bound by international borders. I don't even know if they're bound by moral borders.
Yeah. No, I mean, another company. No, it's very different because with Meta, they were actively, according to Wynne Williams, helping China develop AI to outcompete the United States.
Yeah.
They were helping China develop AI to outcompete the United States. Another organization that bows to China's demands would be the NBA. They talk a big game here about justice, but remember when there were all those protests in Hong Kong for democracy? The NBA would not let you talk about those. They didn't want to offend China.
Right.
Because the market for the NBA and China
Well, they
is
weren't
bigger than here.
Yes, I agree. I think they were restricting that conversation over in China. Yeah, I don't like the two-facedness of it, but I don't find it to be shocking. We're in a free, somewhat free market global world. And it wouldn't be surprising to me that the NBA or Meta or Amazon would be chasing the opportunities of the markets of China. And I think we should have that eye as we work with them. Nothing that Josh Hawley learned is shocking to me and it needs to be examined and find out if there's a violation of the law. And then let's get some real standards in place to deal with this kind of stuff, but otherwise they're going to go sell their stuff there, Amy. They want
Yeah,
money.
They do. Here's a little bit more from Wynne Williams.
They did these things in secret to win favor with Beijing and build an $18 billion business in China. I saw Meta executives repeatedly undermine US national security and betray American values. During my time at Meta, company executives lied about what they were doing with the Chinese Communist Party to employees, shareholders, Congress, and the American public.
So, yeah, I think this is a conversation, Michael, that will be continuing over the next few months. I did get rid of Facebook like 7 months ago, maybe.
Right.
I mean, they still have my info. It's too late. I'm on Instagram. So,
Yeah.
but
Hey, and Senator Hawley has been like
Yeah.
a dog to a bone as it relates
Yeah.
to these tech companies, and I don't think that's something that's going away. He's going to continue to push here, and I think that's good.
he's Michael Kelley. I'm Amy Mark Scores. Get your phones ready.
Oh boy.
Either leave us a voice message or text 314-436-7900. I disagree with myself. I was wrong about David Freese
Mm-hmm.
and maybe the Hall of Fame. We'll talk about that next.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
Ask most contractors about a kitchen or bath remodel, and you'll get similar answers.
So how long?
Yeah, about 2 months.
Longer than that.
3 days.
Longer than, wait a minute, what?
3 days.
3 days?
3 days or less. With 3-day kitchen and bath, you get a new kitchen or bath finished with top quality products and craftsmanship, all in 3 days or less guaranteed.
No eating out because my kitchen is in shambles for a month?
Nope.
No borrowing the neighbor's bathroom for weeks on end?
You'll have a whole new look in 3 days or less.
And those other guys?
They want our web address. Hey, what's your web address? See?
A lot of people will.
Just visit 3daykitchen.com. 3daykitchen.com.
3 days?
3 days. Yeah, isn't that something? 3-day kitchen and bath. Simply amazing.
3-day kitchen and bath.
Currently, it is 57 degrees and sunny in downtown St. Louis. Sun and clouds mixed with a chance of thunderstorms, though, later this afternoon. A high near 70. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 45 degrees. Tomorrow, a high of 59, partly cloudy. And Saturday, gorgeous, 65 degrees for the high and mostly sunny.
Brought to you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. Eamon Gantner and Capriano. I was suddenly widowed at 41. We had a will. Do you? Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. Choice of an attorney is an important decision that should not be based solely on average.
Experience the exhilarating atmosphere of a Cardinals game. Join the sea of red in the wave around the stadium. Feel the rush of excitement as a home run lights up the sky with fireworks, bringing the whole ballpark to their feet. Nothing beats the thrill of watching the Cards get the W with the final out at the plate. It's more than a game. It's an experience. Visit Cardinals.com for tickets and info. St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
There is no better way to enjoy America's favorite pastime than cheering on the Cardinals with your family at Busch Stadium. From the thrill of watching the game to the kid-friendly activities, food, and fun, the ballpark has it all. Make magical memories as you cheer together for every home run, double play, and Cards win. Your family's summer tradition starts here at Busch Stadium. Grab your tickets today at Cardinals.com. St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. With 56 million winning tickets last year, anyone can win big. So set your destination to winning, like gas stations, grocery stores, or anywhere you can buy a ticket. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
Tomorrow, the Cards, the Phillies.
Ameren Total Access 620.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
3-2 delivery. On its way. Swing and a high drive to center field. Get up, baby. Get up, baby. Get up. Oh, yeah. David Freese has just sent us into game number 7. This series is tied 3-3 with a walk-off home run here in the bottom of the 11th inning. The Cardinals win it 10-9. Unbelievable.
Okay.
We will see you tomorrow night.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard me say this quite a bit in the past year, which is I very often disagree with myself. And if you were to maybe print out a transcript from something I said a year ago and handed it to me with no context, I would read it and go, what idiot said this?
I know would say that.
No one would say that.
Yeah.
And they would say, that was you, Amy. You were
Right.
the idiot that said this. So here's the thing. And this is something I've been thinking about for a while now. When David Freese was
The hero of
Game
the
6.
most recent,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, the World Series 2011. When he was nominated and then voted in by the people into the Cardinals Hall of Fame.
St. Louis native.
He is a St. Louis native. I took something
Adored by the people of St. Louis.
beloved.
Yeah.
I took
Cardinal
something
Cardinal
of
legend,
not antagonistic, maybe adversarial, a little too strong. But at any rate, I just questioned. You know the phrase, Michael. I'm just asking questions.
Right, yeah.
I was just asking questions. And the question was, should he really be in the Hall of Fame? Is it the Hall of Fame or the Hall of Moments? And I just said, when I picture the Red Jackets, Bob Gibson, Lou Brock, Stan Musial, Ozzie Smith, I don't necessarily put David Freese in that caliber. Then, totally unrelated, David Freese pulled his name and said, I'm not going to go into the Cardinals Hall of Fame. I don't deserve it.
Are you sure it was
Yes,
unrelated?
it was completely.
I think he may have gotten a
No,
little podcast sent to him.
It was
via
completely
text.
100% unrelated. And I actually thought I was right for a while. And then I thought I was wrong. And Glover brought this up a couple days ago. Maybe it was yesterday.
Okay.
And he brought up how I took that position
Uh-huh.
about David Freese. And because he brought it up, I felt like it opened a door for me to say, guys, I've been thinking about this for a few months. And here's the thing. The Cardinals Hall of Fame is not the Cooperstown Hall of
Agree.
Fame. And you could argue that David Freese gave us the single best moment in Cardinals history and maybe Major League Baseball history.
Yeah. In fairness to you and your argument, I believe that this relatively new, meaning in the last decade or so, the Cardinals started the Cardinal Hall of Fame, which was independent of the Cooperstown Hall.
Yes.
May have watered down what we usually associated with the Red Jacket Club.
Okay.
I grew up watching, as you did, Stan Musial and Lou Brock and Ozzie Smith. I mean, these are legends of the game, not only in St. Louis, but who made an imprint across the game. I
Yeah.
mean, they're household names no matter where they're at. Opening day, I saw Matt Morris made it into the Cardinal Hall of Fame. Matt Morris, great pitcher. I enjoyed my time watching him. Do I put him in the same category as Bob Gibson? No, I don't.
Yeah.
Now, to your argument about David Freese, I actually think you were initially right, Amy. I'm not sure he is, under today's new definition of Hall of Fame, Cardinal Hall of Fame, sure, he could be in there. But I think David Freese, having grown up in St. Louis too, probably viewed it in the same way that we do, that, hey, man, I made an unbelievable thing happen here. And it's the special moment that will live forever that I will be tied to. But am I on the same level as Lou Brock or Bob Gibson.
Right.
I think he was humble and wise enough to realize that he wasn't. Your original position was right. You're wrong today as usual.
I know. I don't even know why I have this job. Why am I here? Like, this is how I feel. Like, what am I doing? Why am I sitting in front of this microphone? I'm an idiot. And I know probably a lot of people going, "Wow, it's about time. It's about time that lady on KMOX." But here's the thing. I guess maybe I was. I think it was a little too myopic or reactionary of like, oh, David Freese, he doesn't belong with Bob Gibson and Lou Brock. Instead of stepping back and saying, not only did he give us what is potentially the best moment in Cardinals history, which also led to a World Series championship, but I used to listen all the time to Mike and Mike on ESPN.
Okay.
Golick and Greenberg, the original.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Greenberg said, not only was that the greatest moment, the Game 6, the David Freese, the greatest moment in baseball history, he said, I would put it up there with one of the greatest moments in sports. He's not even a Cardinals fan.
Right.
And he said that game was the best game he'd ever watched. I think David Freese, I think it was Wheeler brought this up, single-handedly changed the magnitude of the phrase Game 6.
Right.
He changed when you say Game 6,
yes.
What do we all think of? We think of David Freese. That is so revolutionary and transformative that I think he should be in the Hall of Fame.
But is it Hall of Fame worthy? Let me further argue at you that the miracle on ice. Do you believe in miracles? When the Americans beat the Russians, Mike Eruzione was the center, the captain of that team, right? He was the focal point of that team. He had a pretty good collegiate and career, but he's not Wayne Gretzky. He's not Brett Hall. Does he deserve to be acclaimed in the same way that that those guys are? I don't think so. I think you're right on about David Freese. I think to make it this whole moment full circle, we should get David Freese on the air with you and get his thought process. Find out if maybe you did make an impact.
No, I didn't make an impact.
And the
I don't wanna
decision
know
that he made.
Some idiot should not make an impact.
Well, it would, you're more powerful than you may realize. I mean, a lot of my friends have taken up running just listening to you.
That's not true. Oprah inspired you though.
But Oprah, I ran one marathon. I'll never do another one. I've decided that a dog there ruined my body. Because I didn't train properly. I was young, but I thought if Oprah Winfrey can run a marathon, I can run a marathon. And this was not Ozempic Oprah. I mean, this was 1990s Oprah.
OG.
Yeah, this is the OG Oprah, and she ran a marathon. So I signed up for one and ran the Marine Corps Marathon in DC.
See, and that is someone with influence. I don't have that kind of influence.
David Freese is still sitting at home rocking in a corner.
I
over
know,
you.
and I feel like he should be in the Hall of Fame. Oh, here, to your Eruzione point.
Okay.
Should he be in the NHL Hall of Fame?
No.
AKA Cooperstown? No. But should he be in the USA Hockey Hall of Fame?
Of course.
Yes. And that's what the Cardinals Hall of Fame is for Freese.
Agree. But I do think when David Freese was making this decision, the Cardinals Hall of Fame was not what we see it to be today. Because I think David Freese should be on that field before Matt Morris should have been on that field in terms of who's in the Cardinal Hall of Fame under the new definitions.
So 314-436-7900. We'd love to hear from you. You can also leave us a voicemail on the Odyssey app, the microphone icon.
You can text too, right?
We do. Yes. Yeah. The 314-436-7900. We have a text from a 618. It says a lot of guys wearing red jackets that aren't the caliber of Gibson or Musial. So I guess to your point is that there's a lot of guys in red jackets. Like maybe you don't put Matt Morris with Lou Brock and Bob Gibson. Who can be Lou Brock and Bob Gibson? So the fact that David Freese gave us the seminal moment, at least in modern Cardinals history, I think he needs to have a red jacket.
There it is, folks. That's the argument. Do you agree with her? 314-436-7900.
So that's
we still have that other number, 1-800-925-1120.
No, don't give that.
No, we
out.
don't have that.
No, I'm
don't
sure.
call that one.
And there's also like a voicemail. That's the old one.
Yeah.
That one doesn't
See,
work
but
either.
we've moved into the new world.
We
Once
have.
we went to 104.1, we put back that whole terrestrial thought process. We're moving into the new world.
So, Michael, before we break, I was wondering though, because I joke. Well, I'm not joking. I do disagree with myself sometimes. I'm trying in the moment, folks. Listen,
I'm with you.
There's a lot of words that get said every day, and I am trying my best. But
it is so hard to sit here and do what you guys do on a daily basis. It really is.
Do you have anything top of mind where you disagree with yourself?
Oh, yeah. I remember I made a complete jerk of myself. This has got about 10 years ago. They were having a sales meeting here where we were meeting a lot of the folks who advertise on KMOX.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had Hancock and Kelley up there next to Tom Ackerman and Carol Daniel. I mean, here's the voices of KMOX at the time. And there's, me and John sitting on these stools next to him. I'm like, and so, of course, everybody wanted to talk politics. And somebody asked, name a Republican that you have respect for. And that you kind of is a guidepost. Well, at that time, this is pre-Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I said Lindsey Graham. And now I think about it all the time. I'm just like, those people, Carol Daniel jumped me and she's like, Lindsey Graham, Michael? That's who you blah, 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 and she started listing off all these other Republicans. Like, you didn't consider these? Yeah, I regret that.
That's funny.
If this was the Mike and Amy show, I know you guys do Monday regrets.
Yeah.
But we'd have to have daily regrets.
Just regrets.
Yes.
I am a ball of regrets.
Ditto. I'm a walking
when
ball
people are
of
like,
regrets.
I don't have regrets. I'm like, how do you I even have regrets with like if you get a little snippy with someone, don't you regret that? Like,
Yes.
I was in a bad mood. I shouldn't have gotten snippy. And I feel bad about that.
I
That's
have
a regret.
regrets of text messages I sent 2 days ago when all of a sudden I'm going to send you another text message.
Yeah.
And I look at what I said to you 2 days ago. I'm like, oh my God, what was I saying this to this person for?
I was a little irritated yesterday and sent a text. It wasn't mean, but I
Uh-huh.
sent a text because I was
Yeah.
like, blah. And I was like, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Like, why throw more grumbling into the universe?
Are you one of these people that gets upset with text when they're all in caps? Like, if you send something to me in all caps, it does not bother me. Other people are like, "You're a jerk." I'm
Really?
like, what does that even mean? Why are you upset that I had my cap locks on?
I think it's hilarious because I don't have anyone who does that seriously.
Yeah. But
Unlike
so-
certain
but if-
heads of
if-
state. But it's funny I'll do all caps as a joke.
If I sent you a text here, waiting for you to come in that said where you were at in all caps, would you have been like, he's yelling at me? He's upset with me?
No, I think it's funny.
That's what that
'Cause I
means,
know
though,
you.
right? You're upset. Well, there
Oh.
you go. Good point.
Oh, if you actually were mad at me, that would be a bigger surprise. If you sent me all caps, or I sent you you sent me all caps, I would think it was funny because I would assume you
Yeah.
were joking.
Well, I didn't realize that it was offensive. So, for instance, like when our boss here at KMOX has sent me emails or letters or texts in all caps, I never realized that was a way of saying to you, I really am not happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We got a few more texts before we break here, and you can keep sending them in. We have a 314. It says regarding Cardinals Hall of Fame, Ernie Hayes, longtime organist, should be in there. Do they have? They probably do. They have managers. Tony Larissa's in there.
But he was a manager. I mean,
Yeah.
what are we going to start putting in the
Jack Buck's in there.
the hot dog salesman too?
Yeah.
314. How about Jack Clark's homer in Game 6 of the 1985 World Series?
Yeah, I
That's a
jumped
good
on
one.
my couch as a kid.
From an 812. I don't know where that is. Amy, David Freese did not win the 2011 World Series single-handedly. There were so many players in that lineup that kept the innings going. If any of those players failed, David Freese would not have that moment. You were correct in your thinking originally.
That's the guy who raises the hand in class and knows the answer and wants to point out that everybody else is a dork. I mean, that was the most nagging, like, oh, blah, blah, blah. We all know that. Come on. It's all about David Freese, though, when you summarize the moment.
We appreciate it, though, from the area code 812.
That guy will never text
Is that
again.
Texas?
The what?
812? We're going to find that out.
Uh-huh.
We appreciate you texting in again. 314.
Where's it at, Matt?
Southern
43
Indiana.
Southern
Ooh,
Indiana.
Is a Hoosier. Enough said.
I love Indianapolis.
I do, too.
Okay. 314-436-7900 if you'd like to keep the conversation going. We'll get to your texts eventually. Do you know what's next, Michael?
What's that?
Did you see this?
I did.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yes. The
no,
segment. Did
that's
you
right.
see this?
That's right.
Let's
He's Michael
go.
Kelley. I'm Amy Mark Scores. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Since we opened our doors, UC Bank has been committed to the communities we call home. Building financial wellness, UC is proud to offer customized lending strategies and innovative resources to our vibrant communities. UC Bank, building community one family, one street, one city at a time. Member FDIC.
The St. Louis Symphony Orchestra presents Brahms' Violin Concerto, Friendship and Solace, a journey through life, joy, loss, and rebirth. Conductor John Storgards and the SLSO explore the deep humanity of Brahms' Violin Concerto, performed by violinist Francesca Dago, and the epic journey of Sibelius's Lemminkäinen Suite, April 11th, 12th, and 13th at Unsel's Two Hill Performing Arts Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Make reservations for the 2025 Women of Achievement Luncheon, presented by KMOX. This award luncheon takes place Tuesday, May 13th at the Ritz-Carlton, St. Louis, and celebrates 10 outstanding volunteers from across the St. Louis metropolitan region. Doors open at 11:15. The luncheon runs until 1:30. Reservations are $60 per person. Sign up and find more details now at KMOX.com/events.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad.
Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's let the engine do the talking, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 20% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
When my wife and I got married after both graduating law school, we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Ultima had to give me her gas card just to drive home. We never could have imagined that one day we would have the largest injury firm in the world and $25 billion in money collected and counting. As good Catholics, we had 4 children fast. They all work in the firm today. Our family protecting yours. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, but our greatest gift was years away, grandchildren. Today we have 6 and counting. It's the greatest joy that we have ever experienced. I think about them all day long. Our family promises to protect your family should you need us. Call us. It's easy. Visit forthepeople.com and make sure you hug your grandchildren. God's final gift to us. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Dial # law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? What if you could create more impact in every decision? What if you had a partner as visionary as you are? With Bank of America, you get access to our trusted experts, real-time insights, and digital tools. So whether you run a local shop or a global enterprise, you're backed by business solutions to make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins.
Join the millions of people who are celebrating going hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you just step into and they're on.
It's crazy how something as simple as a pair of shoes have made my life better.
After trying Skechers Slip-ins, I want all my shoes to have this technology.
See what everybody can't stop talking about. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Michael, I can't tell how you're going to respond to this.
All right.
Because you like Les Mis, right?
Oh my God, it's the greatest musical ever.
Artsy.
I can almost do all the words.
Are you a Great Gatsby guy?
I like the movies and I enjoyed the book.
Okay, so F. Scott Fitzgerald's iconic masterpiece, The Great Gatsby, was published exactly 100 years ago today, April 10th, 1925.
Wow. Who do you picture when you think of The Great Gatsby? Do you think of Robert Redford or do you think of Leonardo DiCaprio?
Believe it or not, I've only read the book. And I've read the book multiple times. I've never
Really?
seen the movies. The same thing with Les Mis. I've read the book, like the unabridged 1,300 pages, but I've never seen the movies or the play. So I
Amy.
picture whoever is in my head from the book.
I know we make sarcastic jokes like, well, you and I are going to start a badminton team so
Yeah.
we can be in the Olympics. If and when Les Mis comes back to St. Louis, I will put together a party of people
I'll be wrecked.
to take to you to your first Les Mis. Oh, no, you won't. You'll love it. You will love it. It will rip the emotions. You'll love it.
I was wrecked by the book. I bet I would cry so hard that I would be rendered speechless for the rest of the party.
That
I'd
might
be
be
sitting in
entertaining.
the corner.
That might be entertaining.
I'm such a crier. It's my go-to.
Really?
Yeah. If anything goes wrong, I just cry.
The Great Gatsby. So Robert Redford, to me, is the Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
Leo, man, what a pretty guy. But I feel like every
Yeah.
movie I see Leo in, I associate him with every character out there. Robert Redford just looks like the Gatsby.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, how about this, Michael? We were talking about Oprah and the power of Oprah. Weight Watchers, for a long time,
This is
Oprah was a
living.
spokesperson, reported they're reportedly preparing for bankruptcy. So it says first, so Ozempic is probably the main reason why.
Sure.
Like, obviously, if you want to lose a lot of weight relatively quickly, Ozempic, that's a way to go. But Weight Watchers, which then rebranded to WW. Remember when it was like the WW? I think they were struggling already at that time.
Imagine
when
that.
they rebranded. Yes.
They
And
suddenly
so
have a pill.
they have $1.4 billion of loans and bonds that are due in the next few years. They're trying to negotiate a deal out of court, but
Why don't they get into the
they're seeking
Ozempic
Chapter
business?
11. I know.
Why don't they turn all their clinics into, because look, Ozempic's great, right? It helps these people lose weight, etc. But you've got to continue to exercise and put muscle on. Otherwise, you've just taken weight off and you've not eased the burden on the rest of your body.
Right. And you can be skinny and unhealthy, right, if you're not eating well or exercising and so forth. So
Being
I'm
the
sure.
size I am, I think that most skinny people look unhealthy to me.
Did you ever try the Weight Watchers program?
Oh, I've done it all.
Have you?
Now, the one I haven't done recently is the Go Low that everybody
Oh, I
ran
don't know.
into.
Yeah.
A
That's like an
friend of
app.
mine, a big deal friend
Yeah.
of mine in town who had done this Go Low app. And I'm like, dude, what happened to you? Did you get the shot? He's like, I didn't.
Okay, I will say this. Shout out to Slim Fast. I don't know anyone who does Slim Fast. They're still in business.
Are they really?
Isn't that impressive?
Ugh.
Good on them.
Yeah, have you ever? When was the last time you bought a Slim Fast?
I've never bought a Slim Fast, but they're still there.
Yeah, they used to be in our refrigerator when I was a kid.
He's Michael Kelley. I'm Amy Mark Scores. When we come back, Matt Hawley, host of KMOX's Sports Open Line and the
fella.
Redbird Rush Hour. We got to talk some Cardinals baseball because it's a little rough right now. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
A lot of people are getting their air conditioners tuned up and ready to go for the summer, and we're getting a lot of calls of people saying they want a second opinion, to have us come out and requesting us to come out there and take a look at their air conditioners. They've been told that they need a new one, and the repair is quite costly, and it might be best for them to replace the air conditioner and then repair it. If you're in that situation, please give me a call, because there is truly some opportunities here for you that we could save you lots of money, because I'm sure you're going to be shocked. We have the equipment that still works best for you with your budget. It's pretty much the best, is what I would put in my home, is what I would recommend. Give me a call. It's Bart Inman. One easy number, the easiest number in Missouri and Illinois. That is 314-293-2600. Or the online thing, and that is bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hey guys, it's Dave and Rachel from The Dave Glover Show.
So Smart Mouth is the only mouth rinse in the world that has a chemical reaction that makes sure that your bad breath is gone for 12 hours at a time, which means 24 hours a day, zero bad breath.
Yeah, all you have to do is rinse twice and you are covered for 24 hours. That means you never have bad breath. Plus, there's a product to fit whatever your needs are. To learn more, go to their website, smartmouth.com/Glover. And while you're there, you can get a coupon for $2.50 off.
A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. Now, that's where True Green comes in. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, so they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. Now, here's the best part. It's more affordable than you think, and they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Not happy? They'll come back between visits to make it right. Don't wait. Head to truegreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
It is 10 o'clock. We've got sunshine and 59 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. The government's consumer price index showed inflation cooling in the month of March before the impact of President Trump's tariffs could be felt. Here's CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Energy costs were down by 2.4% in March. That is as gasoline dropped more than electricity and natural gas increased. Inflation ran at a 2.4% rate annually after rising 2.8% in the previous month.
However, egg prices have increased to a record high and are up more than 60% from a year ago, despite the outbreak of bird flu slowing down. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson delayed a vote last night on a budget and tax package. Fiscal conservatives not happy. The measure funding Trump priorities would add to the national debt. This morning, Speaker Johnson sounded optimistic.
With all that in mind, our first big, beautiful reconciliation package here involves a number of commitments. And one of those is that we are committed to funding at least $1.5 trillion in savings for the American people, while also preserving our essential programs.
Johnson appeared with Senate GOP leader John Thune, but neither took questions from reporters. Last year, the Missouri legislature approved a measure that required some school districts to get voter approval for 4-day school weeks. One of the first votes took place this week in Crystal City, where almost 87% voted yes.
I think that qualifies as a landslide.
Missouri State University Associate Professor John Turner has researched 4-day school weeks for more than a decade.
They sort of called me the godfather of the 4-day week in Missouri because when I began researching this 12 years ago, there were only 17 4-day school week districts in the state, and now we're over 185, and next year we'll be over 190. So roughly a third of the school districts in the public school districts in Missouri will be on the 4-day week next year.
The FDA has issued a notice. Cabot Creamery is recalling its premium butter with sea salt because of elevated levels of coliform, otherwise known as fecal material. The recall includes at least 1,700 pounds of the product sold in 8-ounce packages. Uber releasing its annual Lost and Found list.
Uber says 1.7 million riders left their phones in a rideshare last year. That was the most commonly forgotten item, followed by wallets and keys. A list of unique items included Ozempic, Shrek ears.
Oh, for the love of Pete.
Divorce papers. A Viking drinking horn, 10 live lobsters, and a Ghostbusters ghost trap, which Uber presumes was non-functional. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Taking a look at the forecast, variable cloudiness this afternoon and into this evening with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. Any thunderstorms could produce gusty winds and small hail, a high near 70 today. 45 overnight. Then tomorrow will start out mostly cloudy with a stray shower, but then sunshine by afternoon with a high of 58. We are just over that right now. We're at 59 degrees with sunshine. The weather is sponsored for you by Saks Financial. It's 10:03. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Hi, it's Jeff Sachs. The swings of the market should not affect your retirement plan. Your income in retirement should be independent of the market swings. If you're up all night worrying about it, we need to review your plan, and today is a great day to do it. Let's simplify your retirement at retiresafestl.com.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
The bases are loaded. The 3-2 pitch with one out, a swing, and a high fly ball left field. And that is over Nootbaar's head. And Nootbaar can't catch it. The ball hits the track. Here comes Canario. The Pirates win 2-1. A single and an RBI. Roycroft is the loser. Lawrence the winner. And the Pirates take 2 out of 3. They won today in 13, 2-1.
Yo, Paulie! Paulie's a great name. Yo, Paulie! What'd you do for Paulie? Anything? Me, Paulie! I was responsible!
Paulie, we're here because of you.
Okay, first of all, they didn't die.
They went to the 13th inning.
It's bad. I feel like crying. This was like the last Cardinals game of all time. That's how this feels. It has been frustrated. Matt Pauley, host of KMOX's Sports Open Line and the Redbird Rush Hour. He does the Cardinals pre and post game. You've heard him there too. He's all over the place. Matt, something of a debacle yesterday. I'll let you pick where you want to start. What stands out most to you from that game? The Cardinals losing in 13 innings, 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, there were just so many things that happened in that game. To your point, the decision to send Michael Ciani, the weird play with Thomas Saggese getting blocked off by a couple runners or a couple fielders that were basically laying down in the lane. I mean, just some decisions that were made. Eric Fetty coming out when he did the decision to go to Steven Matz after Ryan Helsley had thrown 10 pitches. Like, it was just one of those. Kevin Wheeler and I had a lot of fun yesterday on the Redbird Rush Hour because all of those kind of inflection points of the game are really fun to talk through.
Yeah, it's been. Well, let me jump to the play at the plate where the pitcher and the catcher for the Pirates ran into each other.
Yeah.
I'm mind blanking. Who was the runner?
It was
for the Cardinals?
Saggese.
Saggese. Okay. So
yeah,
with Saggese, kind of a weird spot because the base path was blocked. So I guess you either go around the pileup, you jump over the pileup. He did hesitate a bit. Do you not put any blame on him because it was such a weird situation, or should he have maybe barreled through a little bit more aggressively?
No, I give him a complete free pass on that one because that's not something that you experience very often. You're running down the line, and then all of a sudden there's two human bodies that are laying literally between third base and home. Like, what do you do in that split second? I think if he does, like, jump over them or make contact with them, at that point the umpire probably calls obstruction and the run scores. Now, I would argue obstruction should have been called no matter what. Like, you create your baseline when you're running. So, like, when you are a runner going from first to second, you establish what your baseline is going to be, and that's what you get. And as a runner, like, if you go out of that baseline on your own, you're not supposed to do that. But if somebody pushes you out of it, then it's obstruction. So I would, the rule book does not say that you have to make contact in a situation for an umpire to call obstruction. So I feel like the umpires should have called obstruction in that moment. But once they didn't, there wasn't really anything that can be done because that's not a reviewable play.
And also, going back to, again, the extra innings, a lot of extra inning games, it seems, so far this season. But, man, the Cardinals cannot get their offense to align with their pitching. Because here you go. Here you have a game where the pitchers, they keep you in it, but you can't score. It's that, that back and forth, the seesaw again.
I get what you're saying, and I think that's true for yesterday. But they've been really good offensively all year long, and they had the first game yesterday where they hadn't scored 4 runs. So it happens. Like, that's just baseball. That happens a lot where it's like, what's going on? You sit there and you've been scoring a ton of runs all year long, and then all of a sudden you're playing 13 innings and you score 1 run and you don't score for the first 11 innings. So I think that's just baseball. I'm not taking too much from that.
How about that start yesterday, though? 6 scoreless innings. That was what was he doing right?
Yeah, you know what? And I would argue actually that he wasn't like overly sharp in Eric Fetty, because he does issue 4 walks. So the fact that he does not give a hit up through 6 innings, like, he really pitched well, but I didn't think he was like dominant. I just thought he had his pitches working. He was able to mostly be around. It was really weird. He kept issuing leadoff walks, and then the Cardinals would turn a double play behind him. So it was like it was taking him a moment to kind of lock in on each inning. But Fetty was really good. He was really good. He doesn't give up a run. He doesn't give up a hit through 6 innings. There was some controversy after the game because he was lifted with a no-hitter going. To me, that wasn't even a controversy. Like, he was at 88 pitches through 6 innings. He was never going to get the no-hitter. So that trying to leave him in just because it was a no-hitter, that's something that I don't agree with. But I did think it was an interesting conversation about should have he tried to go one more inning because he's at 88 pitches and the bullpen has been used so much lately. Do you bring him back out for the 7th just to try to get one more inning out of him and one less inning on the bullpen? I think that's actually the more interesting conversation to have than should have even going for the no-hitter, because that just wasn't going to happen yesterday.
Does the type of pitcher that you are determine maybe how many pitches your club wants you throwing? Meaning whether you're just, hurling fastballs the whole time, or maybe a more strategic pitcher, and is it maybe not as much pressure on the arm, or no matter what kind of pitcher you are, you're only going to throw so many pitches?
No, it does make a difference. Actually, I talked about this yesterday on Sports Open Line because I was making the point that I just made, and somebody called up and said, well, what about Paul Skeens? He's this young guy. It was cold the other day. He was losing, and he still went out and threw, over 90 pitches. Why did the Pirates let him do that? Well, my answer is Paul Skeens is he's a different kind of guy. This dude's a horse. Like, his body is built to throw 100 pitches, and he is a unicorn. Like, those people just do not exist for the most part, but Skeens does. So trying to invoke, well, Paul Skeens did this, so Eric Fetty should have done that. I argue that that's not really a fair comparison, because Skeens is such a different kind of guy. So now one of the arguments to why Fetty should have actually stayed in longer yesterday is because he's at 88 pitches, and I didn't think there was a lot of stress on his arm. Yeah, he does issue the 4 walks, but like I said a moment ago, it was a lot of leadoff walks that he got a double play behind. So it was a really stress-free 88. Like, not all 88 pitch outings are created the same, and I thought he was kind of free and easy yesterday. As far as his makeup and what he was throwing a lot, he's not a guy that throws super hard. He throws that sinker a lot. That was his number 1 pitch. That was something that maxed out at about 93 miles per hour yesterday. He's going to go throw the sweeper. That's a big pitch for him. So he's a sweeper, changeup, sinker kind of guy. He'll throw the cutter as well. But no, this guy isn't a super high velocity guy. So that would actually lead towards him being somebody who maybe could go a little bit longer than he did yesterday.
So, Matt, now they come back to town on Friday. They take on Philadelphia. I get frustrated early in the season when we have these days off because I want to get into the routine of watching Cardinal and listening to Cardinal baseball every day. How important are these days off at the beginning of a season?
They're big because pitching injuries are more prevalent early on in the season. And I think, going back to what we were just talking about a moment ago, that's part of the reason why Eric Fetty gets lifted after 88 pitches. They are clearly trying to ease these pitchers into the season and not put too much stress on them right at the beginning of the year. Major League Baseball did this big study, and it was all about pitching injuries. And what you're going to learn is that pitching injuries happen a lot more often during spring training and during the first month of the season than they do the rest of the time. So getting these off days, getting a chance to reset your bullpen, giving everybody an extra day, that's key. And I know it's frustrating because, like you said, there's people who want to watch and listen to baseball every single day, but these off days are pretty darn important.
All right, Matt, we got a Blues fan complaining on the text line that we're only a handful of games into the Cardinals season, but the Blues are in a playoff race. So let's talk St. Louis Blues because they did lose to the Edmonton Oilers 4-3 last night. And you got to hand it to the Oilers because they were missing Leon Draisaitl, an absolute stud, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Matthias Ekholm, Jake Wallman. They only dressed 5 defensemen, but superstar Connor McDavid, he returned to the lineup for the first time since March 20th, and he always impacts a game. So a tough loss for the Blues, a gutsy win for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, that's frustrating because you were 21 seconds away from getting at least a point when Connor Brown scores that goal last night. And the Blues got off to a really good start. That was there was the play where basically a skate was coming in on the neck of Jordan Binnington, and then he goes after the guy. Like, that's a really scary situation. And then Ryan Suter scores the shorty just a few moments later. So it was a good start for the team. Obviously, they were able to tie the game up twice in the third period with Kyrou and Buchnevich each scoring. That's a frustrating loss. You want to secure your playoff spot, and you just want to have a little bit of momentum. And anytime you have a long winning streak and then you lose a game, I'm always worried about that exhale.
Yeah.
That, it takes a moment or so to get locked back in. So an unfortunate loss last night for the Blues. I still think they are in really good shape for where they're at. But at the very least, you really wish they could have at least gotten that point last night that they were 21 seconds away from getting.
Well, and that's right. And it's kind of like the last few minutes of the game are the most uncertain for me when it comes to the Blues. Not because if you're, let's say you're ahead, right? You're playing 6-on-5, whether it's a tied game, whatever it may be, those last few minutes of the game are the only minutes that concern me about this team because when you start to see a pattern that somehow something's breaking down. Now, granted, they had a 12-game winning streak, and I was complaining about this. So that's probably me, splitting hairs here. And Connor McDavid out of the penalty box, right? Anytime he's on the ice, his ability to assist, create plays, make goals happen, make high quality scoring chances happen. There's no one else like him out there, but a little frustrating, like you said, because the points are so valuable.
Yeah. You want to get that playoff spot locked in. And, let's also give the Blues credit. They've had a lot of situations late in regulation during that winning streak where they were tied and they got the game winner, or they were down a goal and they were able to force overtime. So, the final few moments of Blues games for the last month or so, it's been wild, and there's been a lot of good things that have happened, some not so good things that have happened. Yesterday goes under that not so good umbrella.
Yep. Well, Matt, we have Sports Open Line tonight, correct?
We do. Yeah. Full 2-hour program this evening.
Nice. Those don't come all the time with all the Cardinal games we've got. Anything you want to let the people know about it?
I think we're gonna have a Battlehawks player on tonight, and I think Taylor Twellman is gonna join us tonight. So we're working on a few things.
Excellent. Good. Looking forward. 6 to 8 on 104.1 FM. Matt Pauly.
You said that like it was a question. 6 to 8.
I know. I'm doubting everything, Matt, because I've decided that David Freese should be in the Cardinals Hall of Fame after originally not thinking he should. So I just think I'm an idiot. So now I doubt everything.
I respect his decision when he made it last year. That was last year, right? Or was it 2 years ago? Anyways, whenever he made that decision, I respected the decision that he made. But I'm a big believer that Hall of Fames are like they're for the fans, right?
Yeah.
It's for the player, but it's also for the fans. And if fans vote the guy in, I kind of lament on his behalf that he felt the way that he felt because fans voted him in. I would have loved for him to accept the honor, but I also respect him and understand the reason he didn't.
Thank you, Matt.
You bet.
Yo, Paulie, your sister's with me. I'll call you back later. See ya.
That is Matt Pauly, Sports Open Line, 6 to 8, 104.1 FM. He's Michael Kelley. I'm Amy Markscores. This is what I discovered last night. I didn't discover it. I think I maybe just lamented it. Life gets more expensive as you get older.
Oh, doesn't it cost you like $20 to wake up these days?
Seriously.
Just to wake up. It's
Seriously.
going to cost you $20.
We're talking about that next on the Chris and Amy Show.
I'm Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. Human trafficking is occurring right here in Missouri. You can help combat it by learning the signs of human trafficking and reporting suspicious activity to law enforcement. Victims may appear malnourished, show signs of mental or physical abuse, or avoid social interaction. If you're a victim or know someone who needs help, contact the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888 or text the word HELP to Be Free. Together, we can fight human trafficking in Missouri.
Brought to you by the Missouri Attorney General's Office.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate, paid for by Bayer.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
This is Tom Ackerman. This basketball season, use Underdog, one of the leading sports apps to play in the state of Missouri. How do you play Underdog? You can win up to 1,000 times your money. I love playing Underdog. You choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats. That's it. Points, assists, rebounds. You don't even have to be a sports fan to enjoy the beauty of Underdog. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog, and you should be next. Here's how you do it. Download the Underdog app to your phone. Sign up now using promo code TOM. That will unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. That's very important. When you make your first deposit, join in on the fun when you sign up with promo code TOM and claim your special offer today. Get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon first deposit. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
This May, the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup is coming back to St. Louis. Join us at Energizer Park for the round of 32 as St. Louis City SC plays for this historic trophy. Get tickets now at stlcity.com/Open Cup.
Community America Credit Union has a new branch in Hazelwood. Join me, Amy Markscores, Special Cardinals alumni, and Fred Bird on April 10th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for the grand opening. There'll be exciting prizes and delicious food. See you there.
Hi, my name is Christina Straight, the owner of Straight Realty, and I'm asking you, what do you want in a realtor? Do you want experience? I've been a broker for over 21 years. Do you want to know how much I've sold? I've sold over $500 million, yes, $1 billion with a B, in sales. Do you want value? I now list properties for only 2%. So if you're looking for all these things and want the best, then call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
11:20 a.m., 104.1 FM, and streaming on the Odyssey app. KMOX is with you, however you listen, wherever you listen.
Tell me, David, why do you want this job? I ran out of eye cream. Okay, you're not going to get this job. You're not going to get this job. You know why? Your attitude sucks. Okay. And look at how you're dressed. What is this? Colostomy bag pants.
Oh.
I'm the manager of a family-run grocery store. I'm not going to hire you. You're not going to get the job. You're the last person. Okay.
Why do you want this job? I ran out of eye cream. And I did run out of eye cream. And here's the thing, Michael. I know it's so obvious that life gets more expensive as you get older.
Okay.
It is so expensive. Like, not only because of inflation and things get more expensive. It's more expensive because my body, my face, my skin, whatever. I'm like that wagon in the Bugs Bunny cartoon where the wheels are falling off and the seat's coming off and it's just taking more to hold the wagon together all day long.
Right.
I'm the wagon. And let me tell you, Michael, do you know what I bought last night? Eye cream.
Okay.
I bought face
what
cream.
What does the eye cream do?
Well, it's supposed to make me beautiful and young.
Well, it's all right. It's doing a good job.
No, it's not. Here's the thing. I believe this stuff. I fall for it, but you want your skin to be good and your skin needs to be moisturized and get rid of the sunspots and even out the skin tone. I bought my eye cream or my face cream because eye cream is actually more expensive than face cream. Guess how much my face cream was at Target?
I'm guessing $20.
$65
How?
At Target. And like I said,
For your eye cream?
For my face cream. The eye cream.
For your face cream.
You know the brand Clarins? I hope if there are like women out there listening, Clarins is an old school brand. I like it because like it's sentimental to me. My mom used to use Clarins. My mom's still alive. When she was younger, she used Clarins. My mom now uses other face cream. She's not dead. My mom uses other face cream. But I was like, oh my gosh, I saw Target carries Clarins. And I thought, I want to buy this Clarins eye serum.
Okay.
And it's a little 1
Yeah, it's like
ounce.
a dauber.
It's
right?
a 1 ounce
Uh-huh.
bottle of eye serum. Well, the 1.7 ounce, I should say.
Right.
$185
For cream.
serum.
Or for serum.
For your
now,
eyes.
Is this the kind of serum that when you put it on, like if
Not in the
if you did a
commercial.
20-minute time elapse,
No.
all of a sudden the eyes go from
No,
being
that's
Wilford Brimley to a 12-year-old?
that's Plexiderm. And that is temporary. That's a temporary fix, the Wilford Brimley to a 12-year-old. We've all seen those commercials.
What's the difference between eye
Eye
cream and face cream? I mean,
Well,
it's all the
face cream-
same area.
So face cream goes over your whole face. Eye cream, because the skin around your eyes is so delicate.
Really? Okay.
And because you want to really put the good stuff there, you get this tiny little, like a little microscopic little cup of eye
Dauber,
cream.
yeah. Uh-huh.
And it is $200. I didn't buy that. I bought the $65 eye cream, which I walked out of Target with this insane receipt and one bag. Dry shampoo. Had some dry shampoo from Target. Again, it's not like I'm going to Saks Fifth Avenue to pick up my eye
Right.
cream. I go to Target and I get dry shampoo to spray on your hair so you don't have to wash your hair that day. It's $28.
Wow.
So I flagged down the little lady at the self-checkout and I said, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize this was $28. And she goes, oh my gosh, that's so expensive. I go, can you take this off? I don't want to buy this tonight. That's too much because I'm buying my face cream.
Right. I'm already investing in that region of the body.
Now, the face cream told me that I'll see results.
Did it? Is this got that ingredient? What's the stuff that
Hyaluronic
I've traveled? Yes. I've traveled to Mexico with girls who, girls, men and women, but girls specifically want to go to the pharmacies because they can get some type of cream that you don't need a prescription for.
Oh,
that's
no.
good for your
That's
Now you
retinol.
understand why it's girls.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's retinol.
What's that?
That like eats this. It's vitamin A, kind of like it eats the skin, the dead skin off your face. I don't buy that. I think I spend too much time outside because you have to be really careful if you use retinol cream because it makes it, it brings out the baby skin, the new skin. So you want to wear a lot of sunscreen and don't spend time in the sun or you'll get sunspots. So I haven't done retinol because I'm just always outside running or like I said, being in the mountains, you could fry your face. If I used retinol and then went in the mountains, I'd fry my face.
Well, I'm not saying this because I'm sitting across from you. Your face is great. Your face is flawless. You don't
Thank
need
you.
to be doing this stuff.
No,
but I have to
I-
tell you, as
I do.
a boy,
Yes.
this is one of the things I'm grateful for in life is that I'm pretty ignorant to most of the creams and lotions that are being applied
But
to faces.
it's good for boys too.
I guess,
Face cream
but
is
I mean,
great for
but it's
boys.
not as accepted or as expected of men. I think I should learn a routine and maybe.
Here's the deal.
Good goodness, I mean, This pig could use a little lipstick, so
If
maybe
you-
it could work out.
If you take me to see Les Mis,
I know.
I will take you
You're
to find
putting-
some eye cream.
You're going to put me on a facial regimen?
Yes.
Or,
I'll take you to find some eye cream.
I do know that when you rub on your face, you're not supposed to use your index finger. You're supposed to use
Like pat with your ring finger.
your outside
Yeah.
fingers because you're less likely to put it into your eyes
don't-
and stuff.
Well, and you don't want
I've
to stretch
witnessed
the
enough of this
skin.
application process to understand
You go to Mexico
the importance
with a
of
lot
it.
of ladies.
But it is not. That's not true. It's not cheap, and you're right.
No.
You should come and go through my drawer, or I'll bring in a drawer for you tomorrow, and you can just look at it and see if there's any of that
Okay.
you'd like.
I'm going to find some good eye cream for you. You're
Okay.
doing okay for yourself. You're a successful
I'm
young
like
man.
red, pink. Do they sell pink colored eye cream? Because
Well, you don't want to be pinker.
no, I don't. I'd
Yeah.
like to go back to
I love this. Michael Kelley's big day. We're going to get some eye cream.
Let's get some eye cream
It's
going
going
up
to be
in this
exciting.
place.
He is Michael Kelley. I'm Amy Markscores. Joining us
Major
next,
Garrett.
CBS Chief Washington correspondent, Major
Get
Garrett.
serious, people.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Rockwood School District has openings and is looking for people who enjoy working with kids to drive buses, work in the school cafeteria, clean buildings, work as groundskeepers, work with kids in the before and after school program, and much more. Rockwood is a great place to work. Outstanding benefits, positive, caring work environment, competitive pay, working with kids, and really a fun working environment. You can find out more at rsdmo.org/jobs.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Universal Windows Direct. Right now, it's their classic fan favorite offer. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and there's no limit. For a limited time, Universal Windows Direct is also offering no interest until 2030. That's right. Upgrade your home today and don't pay a cent in interest for 6 whole years. And here's the real spring surprise. Get a bonus $500 off your entire home improvement project. There's never been a better time to bundle and save. Call 314-334-2522 or universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
This May, the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup is coming back to St. Louis. Join us at Energizer Park for the round of 32 as St. Louis City SC plays for this historic trophy. Get tickets now at stlcity.com/Open Cup.
It's beautiful and sunny downtown. A little cloud cover rolling in, 57 degrees currently. The high today is 70 degrees. There will be more clouds mixed with a chance of thunderstorms during the afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 45. Tomorrow, a bit cooler, high of 59, intervals of clouds and sunshine. But Saturday, baby, 65 degrees and mostly sunny.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Hey, it's the Cardinal Cowboy. The beginning of a new season is a perfect time for a tune-up from my friends at Renner Garage Door. Need a new door? Get a free replacement quote today. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER. Charlie Brennan alongside once again with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. What do people look for in a hearing aid?
People want a hearing aid that will help them to hear their family at dinner, their grandchildren, or help them hear their friends at their weekly breakfast get-togethers. Expectations have always been high with hearing aids, and the hearing aids are always improving. The latest technology has great ease of use, Bluetooth capabilities, and better understanding in the speech and noisy places. We're hosting our spring sale event April 21st and 22nd this year. It's an event where you can listen to the hearing aids for yourself. For 2 days only, we're offering $700 off a set of the latest hearing aid technology, free earwax removal, free hearing screenings, and free hearing aid cleanings. We're so confident that you're going to love this new hearing aid that we're giving away free trial periods.
Thanks, Dr. Bosler. Again, the spring sales event, April 21st and 22nd. To learn more, the Audiology Center, STL.com.
Chris Ronji, Amy Markscores. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX. It's Major News with Major Garrett, our weekly conversation with CBS's Chief Washington correspondent.
Michael Kelley, Amy Markscores with you on a Thursday, and Thursdays are our favorite because we get to chat with Major Garrett, CBS Chief Washington correspondent and host of America Decides on CBS News 24/7. Major, how are you doing this fine day?
Oh, I'm doing just fine.
Yeah.
I'm doing just fine.
Hanging in there.
Yes.
Well, let's jump into it.
Right. Yeah, let's jump into it.
Let's jump into it. No need to dilly-dally. The
No.
the pause on the 90-day pause on the reciprocal tariffs on everyone except for China. Can you maybe lay out for us how and why this happened?
Well, how it happened is simple. The president reversed himself. Why it happened, I think there are a number of factors. One, I think the most important set of factors began to materialize the night before last, when there was a move by the Japanese and the Chinese to sell American bonds. That sent the yield curve in a new direction higher. The 30-year mortgage rate went above 7%. That was dangerous territory for the president on a couple of levels. And there were increasing warnings about a coming recession due to the tariff applications. The White House took all that on board and factored something else vitally important to all this. The House of Representatives, led by Republicans, was having a very hard time getting agreement to pass the budget framework to move the president's tax cut agenda forward. Part of the reason that was happening is there was a tremendous amount of political uncertainty about the tariffs. People did not want to make a hard vote if they were making that hard vote in the context of all sorts of blowback at home and on the markets about tariffs. So, to improve the prospects in the House for the budget framework, without which you don't get Trump tax cuts, the president made a decision to pause. And the 90 days matters a great deal. The 90 days has much less to do with the time it's going to require to negotiate any of these trade deals. Forget that. That's not what it's about. 90 days fits almost perfectly, almost to the day, with the target that House and Senate Republicans have set for themselves to finish work on the president's tax cuts. 90 days. That's about their goal internally, and they've talked about it externally. So the pause is to give them ample room to work this out without any political distractions from tariffs that are unpopular. Tariffs on China right now, for the moment, are popular or are popular enough. Tariffs everywhere else, very unpopular, creating massive volatility in the stock market. So bond markets were roiled, mortgage rates went up, recession fears increased, and the politics on the House got complicated. You put those four things together, President reversed himself.
And Major, how long, what's the pinch point for Republicans? We're starting to see some folks like Ted Cruz speak out about tariffs and the yo-yo that we seem to be on at the will of the president's behavior. Is this the beginning of the erosion where maybe the Senate comes back in and says, man, we got to take this tariff power back?
I doubt it. I very much doubt it. There are legitimate reasons to have that conversation, extremely legitimate historical and constitutional reasons to have that conversation. Back when tariffs were the only form or the principal form of revenue generation in our country before we created an income tax, all tariffs flowed through Congress. The framers wrote the Constitution in that way for a very specific reason. They did not want the power in one person's hand, because tariffs are a way to conduct foreign policy, economic policy, and possibly a backdoor to graft. Because if you go tariffs in one direction, you're favoring one American industry. Well, if that American industry pays you on the back end, you could be corrupted by that process. You put all that in one person's hand, you increase volatility, and you create an incentive structure for corruption. Framers didn't want any of that. They wanted the tariff power to be in the hands of Congress, specifically the House, to initiate any revenue. And revenue back then was generated principally through tariffs. Now, when we got rid of tariffs and they were no longer a really important part of either revenue generation or foreign policy after the income tax and the global economy began to take over, Congress gave presidents some limited tariff authority, especially if there's an economic emergency. Well, that's how the president is invoking all these powers. He's declared an economic emergency. And yet, that emergency, stay with me now, ladies and gentlemen, can be paused. What?
Exactly.
Huh? What? Wait a minute. If there's an emergency, if your house is on fire, okay, which is kind of a definition of an emergency, will you pause the fire hydrant? What? These are super legitimate issues. And the president's sort of like, well, whatever. I'm pausing it. I'm turning it back on, off, because I alone can do it. I alone have aggregated for myself this power. Now, look, most Republicans are still net confident with Trump on this. But would they be net confident with that with Obama or Biden or Gretchen Whitmer or Gavin Newsom or Josh Shapiro? I tend to think not, which is why these powers should be where they were constitutionally placed in the first place, in Congress.
Major, we talked about the bloat and abuse of power in the executive branch, reaching back to several administrations. I know you were very critical of President Biden pardoning his family members and preemptively pardoning people and thinking, well, this opens the door for Trump. With Trump declaring this an emergency and exercising tariff power, would it not open the door for the next Democratic president to announce, say, a climate emergency and extend those powers even more?
Of course. I mean, if presidents are invested with the power to invent, declare, and otherwise appropriate for themselves new powers under emergency declarations, then you cease to have counterbalancing forces across our government. Yes, the courts can intervene at the margins, but only at the margins. And we're seeing how marginal the courts can really be in some of these instances. And the checks and balances really begin to fade away if presidents say, I see an emergency over there, therefore my powers have just increased. Okay. But if those powers used to flow through Congress and constitutionally ought to flow through Congress, but it takes too long for Congress to put itself together, or because Congress is so divided it can't immediately find ways to stop you, and the courts have limited powers, then each presidential election becomes a choice for who you wish to possess emergency, I don't want to say dictatorial powers, but powers far beyond our common and historical understanding of presidential powers in a checks and balances form of government.
Major, going to the Senate committee yesterday, where a former global policy director for Meta, Sarah Wynne Williams, the whistleblower, the Facebook whistleblower, testified to the Senate committee about Meta/Facebook's behind-the-scenes dealing with China, how it undermined national security, betrayed American values. Missouri's Senator Josh Hawley, very active on this front. What do you make of that testimony, and what could the fallout be for Meta?
Well, I'm going to have to defer to you on your description thereof, because yesterday was a very busy day for me. And I didn't see the testimony. I didn't review the testimony. I know this has been an area of emphasis and curiosity for Senator Hawley, and it sounds like well-grounded. And that testimony is probably reshaping understanding of Meta, Facebook, and its overall orientation as not only a American-based company, but a multinational company, and what it is inclined to do in pursuit of a larger audience, because that's a very large audience in China, and what you have to do to maybe either trim your sails, curry favor. I'm not sure. Again, I didn't see the testimony. I'm not sure what all the ramifications of it are, but I will say this, broadly speaking, quite separate from the testimony. We have to stop thinking about Facebook and Apple and Google as companies. They are countries. They are countries, ladies and gentlemen, with economic power similar to large countries. They own data and information, which gives them a power similar to a large country. And they operate globally, and they have interests globally that are sometimes aligned with the United States, sometimes, as this testimony, as you summarized it for me, indicates, sometimes not. They're countries, big players, bigger than the regulatory apparatus in our country, the European Union, and elsewhere. And we have to understand their power and their reach is larger than, let us say, General Motors or Ford or any other kind of company that's traded on the stock exchange. They are massive, and their massiveness brings with them a kind of clout and a kind of market distorting power that I don't think we've begun to wrap our minds around politically or from a regulatory point of view.
That's terrifying. It's a good way to look at it, and it's terrifying. We'll continue to keep our eye on that. Switching back to what we were talking about with all the chaos yesterday, the tariffs and Trump, within the whole tariff conversation, we did start to see a little bit of a fracturing with Elon Musk attacking Peter Navarro. And then Caroline Levitt, boys will be boys, which didn't exactly sit with me, right? Because this is not a joke. But but with Elon Musk, obviously when you have two powerful men with egos, they're only going to get along for so long. Is this the beginning of a real rift?
Well, what I think it is the beginning of is a reorientation of who speaks on behalf of the administration about trade. There's no accident to what happened yesterday after the president decided to pause. First, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, is supposed to be on Capitol Hill meeting privately with House Republicans about the budget. He's pulled out of that meeting, taken back to the White House. Then he's the one who comes out and does an impromptu press conference with White House reporters about the tariff pause. Nobody else. He's on CNBC this morning, as is Kevin Hassett, who's the economic advisor within the White House. Why am I name checking these two particular people, the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and the top White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett? Not because their names sound alike. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because those are the two most prominent trade doves, not warriors, doves within the Trump White House and administration. Okay? They're the ones now being sent out to reassure the markets. They're the ones sent out to say, we're going to land this plane. The tariff stuff is not going to be anywhere near as aggressive as was announced on Liberation Day, which was driven by Navarro and other trade hawks, not doves, but hawks inside the White House. Stephen Miller is one of them. Peter Navarro is another. Howard Lutnick is whatever he thinks the president most wants him to say as loud as he wants him to say it. And so he is, and he also has a very entrenched rivalry with Scott Bessent. Howard Lutnick wanted to be Treasury Secretary. He lost. Bessent got it. So they clash privately mostly. But he's more hawkish on trade. He's the one who goes on TV all the time and talks about robots screwing in the screws on iPhones in America, as if that's going to create any new jobs for manufacturing in America, or HVAC to keep the robots cool who are going to be working the factory assembly lines. Again, I'm not sure how many jobs that creates, but that's Howard Lutnick's spiel. So the point of what happened yesterday is not only the pause, but who talked about it and who is talking about it today. And it's the doves, not the hawks. That is the split. And in the end, mark my words, if after 90 days or 120 days or whatever it takes, most of these tariff things are very close to status quo, then we will know this was mostly a mirage, except with China.
He is Major Garrett, CBS Chief Washington Correspondent, host of America Decides on CBS News 24/7. And Major, we await with bated breath.
Soon to be renamed, and you know the name it's going to be. I just have to wait a couple more weeks before I can tell you for sure.
This is so exciting. We are on the precipice of suspense. We can't take it.
Basically, one of the things that's holding it up is furniture. It's furniture, okay? I'm waiting for some furniture, okay?
Okay.
When the furniture arrives and the new tile for the floor, I'll be able to tell you what's going to happen.
Okay. This is very exciting. I hope the furniture gets there. I think I had a couch stuck in the Suez Canal a couple of years ago,
Right.
so you never know.
I just don't know. I just don't know what the tariff rate is going to be. So that's one of the things we got to figure out.
He's sitting on the floor. This is a tariff, baby. I don't have a couch. Major
Exactly.
Garrett, thank you so much.
Thank you. Talk next week.
That's right. Major Garrett, CBS Chief Washington Correspondent, host of America Decides on CBS News 24/7. We'll chat with him next week. In the meantime, Michael Kelley, we've got some Alfonso's news to discuss. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
So, you want to buy a house. You could go online, do your research, find the dream listing, go see it, and get catfished. Back to the drawing board. More scheduling, more viewings, more. This doesn't even look like the photos. You could finally find one that does match the photos. Then comes the offer. Stress rush? Yep, make that 3. And here's the paperwork. Yep, never-ending paperwork. It's a lot. But you don't have to do it alone. Because there's an agent who's a realtor here to guide and help protect you as you find the home that's right for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
Good morning, Doctor. Doctor? Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. This has been a test of the emergency alert system. This was only a test.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about i3 Broadband. Are you thinking about upgrading your internet in your home? Probably a pretty good decision to do so if maybe you're with the cable company or you're with some of those big companies. i3 Broadband, it's amazing. They provide the home internet at my home super fast. They always mirror their upload and download speeds, which is a really big deal. You won't realize how much faster your internet can be. Plus, it's reliable. The customer service is great. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Put your address in at i3broadband.com.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind, zero-turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Hey St. Louis, this is Ben Barnett, board certified master arborist with Timberline Professional Tree Care. In my nearly 30 years in the industry, I've seen firsthand what damage falling trees can do to your property. The sad thing is that most trees that fail have defects that can be identified by a well-trained certified arborist. At Timberline, we have 7 ISA certified arborists, 3 of which have gone through extensive training and testing to become tree risk assessment qualified. Our track certified arborists can perform a thorough assessment of your tree and provide mitigation options for your peace of mind. If there's nothing wrong with your tree, we will let you know that it poses a low risk of failure. If it needs to be removed, we'll tell you in a detailed written report. It's all about honesty and integrity here at Timberline Professional Tree Care. So call us today to get a tree risk assessment scheduled. 636-479-7475 or contact us through our website at stltreecare.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Michael Kelley, Amy Marks scores. A couple of texts coming in from a 314. I love me some Major Garrett.
Oh.
I do too.
Man, I thought it was going to be MSK. I love Major Garrett too. You know what's crazy about Major Garrett is like, turn on the national news tonight on CBS. Guess who will be talking to you? Major Garrett.
I know.
And and by the way, I've heard his interviews in other markets. He doesn't sound like that. He has a special affinity with KMOX in this show.
It's because we're friends. We're best friends.
Does he come to town ever and hang out with
once
you?
he did with his book tour. We're not really best friends, but I like to name drop. Like, yeah, I talked to Major Garrett. We also, from a 618, where does Elon get his components and high-tech equipment for his SpaceX? That was a text.
Well, I think everything comes from everywhere in the world now, which is why the whole tariff conversation is troubling to me.
Okay. Alfonso's Pizza. Alfonso's Pizza.
Which one now? Which Alfonso are we talking about?
Well, the Alfonsos that won the Mott's Madness Pizza Tournament was Alfonso's and Troy. That's Alfonso's with a Z. And man, people came out en masse to vote for this. Now, Alfonso's Pizza in Carrollton, Illinois, they shouted out the Chris and Amy show, screenshotted our results, and they said, "Thank you, Carrollton and beyond. That was fun to watch us take the lead and then not." Congratulations, Alfonso Pizzeria in Troy, Illinois. We will be visiting again soon. If you haven't been here to Carrollton, come see us. And if you haven't been to Troy, it is definitely worth the drive. We all know that Alfonso's, and they did an S and a Z together, Alfonso's Pizza is the best. I love that. That is, you talk about
Can you feel the love tonight?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, we've just created a relationship.
I think we
between
did.
two Alfonsos.
We did.
Our mess up
Yes.
turned these
it was more like
Alfonsos into a
negligence.
long. What if they wind up like, growing
Uniting?
together
Yeah.
and sharing recipes?
Alfonso's and Alfonso's Pizzeria.
Yes.
That would be
Brought
amazing.
together by the hijinks of the Chris and Amy show.
I'll tell you what, the one thing about this Mott's Madness tournament is that every time we talk about it, I want pizza. It just sounds so good. But thank you, Alfonso's Pizza in Carrollton, for the shout out. Thank you for bringing up Alfonso's in Troy as well. The runner up, a gracious runner up, Alfonso's in Carrollton. And congratulations to Alfonso's in Troy for winning our Mott's Madness tournament. And while we regret the confusion, mistakes were made, we think it turned into a real fun thing.
We created a love connection.
I think so.
Yeah.
We
we'll be
really
back
did.
in 2 and 2, right?
Speaking of love connections, Michael Kelley is in love with the Masters.
Oh, my
And
God.
in just a couple of minutes, we're going to chat with Dan Reardon, KMOX golf reporter, live in Augusta. It's
we are.
the Chris and Amy show.
Love it.
On KMOX.
It is where we are.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, Call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Let me tell you one of the reasons I think we became the largest injury firm in the world, and it's not even close. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My wife and I had a plan early on. In our firm, our lawyers only work on certain types of cases. Our products liability and dangerous drug lawyers only work on those cases. Same for car crashes, workers' compensation, medical malpractice, and insurance disputes. Our thinking is for these lawyers to focus on one area of the law and live it and breathe it. Power comes from knowledge. Many lawyers do everything, jack of all trades. Not us, and we don't charge an hourly rate. You only pay us if we win. If you want to hire us, it's easy. Dial Pound Law on your cell phone, pound 529, or visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer from the comfort of your own home. Let us get to work for you. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It is 11 o'clock, and we've had some clouds move in already. It's 62 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
On this vote, the yeas are 216, the nays are 214. The motion is adopted without objection. The motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
The House narrowly approving the budget plan needed to advance President Trump's tax agenda. The vote came one day after Speaker Mike Johnson pulled the resolution from a vote due to conservatives opposing adding to the national debt. President Trump's tariff whiplash is leaving investors and consumers with feelings of uncertainty. But for now, Trump's tariffs are off, except
the tariffs on China actually got bigger when the pause went into effect. So the rate is about 125%.
That's John Horn, professor of economics at Washington University's Olin School of Business. China vows to fight Trump to the end on tariffs, but Horn says there's no policy papers or details available from the White House.
Seems like the steel and auto and aluminum tariffs are still in place at 25%. And it seems like everyone is still being hit with a 10% across the board tariff.
Horn says another reason for uncertainty, all the mixed messages about why Trump is doing this in the first place. Adrian Sawchuk co-owns a microbrewery in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Like a lot of businesses, we're going to have to pass some of those costs on to our customers, which we're not happy about. And then the challenge too then is obviously as prices go up, demand goes down and people may skip a second beer or they may skip going out to dinner because they're trying to save money.
U.S. egg prices increased again last month to reach a new record high of $6.23 a dozen, despite President Trump's predictions, a drop in wholesale prices, and no egg farms having bird flu outbreaks. If you want to cut your grocery bills, experts say you have to shop the sales, especially when it comes to pantry staples.
Your beans, your pasta, your rice, all those canned goods, anytime those are on sale, and if you have the space for them, you can store those for quite a long time.
Chris Jelfs is a nutrition and wellness educator with the University of Illinois Extension and tells KMOX if you find Milk or eggs on sale, those can be stored longer if you freeze them. Just don't freeze eggs in the shell. She says crack them into freezer-safe containers. One of the oldest animals at the St. Louis Zoo has been euthanized, Othello, one of the 4 Aldabra giant tortoises. Although they aren't sure exactly how old Othello was, they know he was well over 100. The zoo says his health had been declining from a gastrointestinal issue. Those tortoises are considered vulnerable to extinction. The weather is sponsored for you by the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
Variable cloudiness with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm this afternoon and early this evening. Any thunderstorm can produce gusty winds and small hail. Our high near 70. Partly to mostly cloudy later tonight, though 45. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is cloudy and 62 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis at 11:03. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
Michael Kelley has a flush in his cheeks.
You're ruining the music.
Can I tell you a story? I don't
You're
mean
supposed to start with, hello, friends.
It's the Chris and Amy Show. Chris Ranji has putted himself off the show.
Amen.
And Michael Kelley
They brought in a mulligan.
is stepping in. I don't want to put PJ, Matt Pajeski, on the spot. But I said, we're going to talk about the Masters.
Yeah.
And Michael Kelley loves the Masters.
I do.
And he said, and I'm going to, I love Matt. He's the best in the whole wide world. And he said, does the Masters have a theme song?
Oh my God, Matt. And a spokesman. You know, I saw yesterday Fred Ridley, the chairman of the Masters, gave his press conference. And he said they've been with CBS for like 50 years.
Have they
something.
really?
Ridiculous. It's awesome.
That's incredible. Well, Michael Kelley, I'm pleased to announce that live from Augusta, we are bringing in the KMOX golf reporter, Dan Reardon. Dan, how is it there on that beautiful golf course today?
It's absolutely perfect, and I'll tell you that CBS arrangement is every year a 1-year contract.
Yeah,
really?
There's no long term. They feel that it's the best way to get the best product from their partner at CBS. So and by the way, Fred Ridley mentioned he had an anniversary 50 years ago. He won the U.S. Amateur, and this is also an anniversary for Lee Elder being the first player of color to play in the Masters.
Yeah.
So a few of those kinds of things hanging around.
Yeah, so much to talk about. So you talk about chairmans. First of all, they must get helmet hair. All of them have all had the same kind of hair. Dan, whether it be Hootie Johnson or Billy Payne, you go back in the day, they all got the Fred Ridley hair. What year of covering the Masters is this for you in that special place?
I lost 2 to the pandemic, so even though I covered them for the station, they technically didn't work on my record here. But this is number 38. It's real easy to identify the first Masters that I covered because Jack Nicklaus won his 6th-green jacket. And I have a question for you, Michael Kelley, because you're sort of a hardcore golfer kind of guy.
Yeah.
Have you ever been here?
I did. I was there for Sergio's victory.
Okay.
The Azaleas had come in early, so they were not there during the actual tournament. So I didn't get to receive the full beauty of that place. But Dan, I've tried to explain it to people. I'm spoiled. I've been to Super Bowls. I've been to World Series. I've been to playoff. The only thing I ever want to go back to is the Masters.
And it's worth going back to because of a couple of reasons. One, and I've done a couple of hits with people recently going in this, and I will tell you, you as a spectator, me as a member of the media, players, whatever it might be, once you get inside the gates at Augusta, you're in a world that you wish you could always live in, not because of the pretty flowers, not because of the green grass or the galleries or anything. It's the people that put this tournament on are so concerned about you having a good experience. I mean, literally, When I checked in this morning, the person, examining my bag to make sure everything was legal, the person that was let me across the street to get into the clubhouse, the person I signed in with, and when I take a ride in a golf cart down to the course, everybody is just treating you like you belong here. And when you leave here, you realize, God, I wish I lived in that world.
And it's unfortunate that it, because it's only 1 week and because they only have so much room, that it's hard to go. But if you ever have a chance, you've got to go. I've never been to a property anything like it, and I've been to Pebble Beach and so many other places, nothing like it.
Well, Michael and Amy, here's something that's unique in golf, and I can't account for every PGA Tour stop. I can't account for every major. This is the only venue that I'm aware of where the spectators, the patrons, park on the property.
Yep.
Everything else, every place else you go, you ride a shuttle bus to get to the course. We do it with the senior event out at Norwood in September. Here, they bought the land, they parked all the people here, and now they have an underground garage for the players just to make their experience even better. So I mean, it's. But then the other part of it, I said two things. This will always change. There'll be revisions to the course. There will be things that take place. They'll preserve everything you want, but they'll enhance it. And Ridley talked about all the things they're trying to do for the players now in terms of a family facility where they can get together with their families when they're on the property, in terms of workout facilities. All of these things are being put into place. They built literally a small town on this property, probably around the time that you were here with Sergio, where you're off the golf course and you don't realize how many buildings are there. And they were concerned about those buildings when the hurricane came through last fall.
So this is it's kind of a novice question because I've never been to a golf tournament. I've been on a golf course, but I've never been to a golf tournament as a spectator. Strangely enough, I don't play golf, but I love watching on TV. It's so relaxing to me. It's like a meditation, right? It's beautiful. But when you're watching on TV, there's just all these different cameras, going from one big name to the next big name. How, in my head, logistically, how is the experience good being there? Because I feel like you're far away or one player's on this hole, you're several holes back. How do you make it be a good experience as a spectator?
You start with the fact that at Augusta and only at the Masters is the priority on the patrons. I, as a member of the media, I'll be at the PGA Championship in Charlotte next month, and I may have access inside the ropes. I may have special viewing opportunities. That's true at the U.S. Open. That's true at a number of places. It is not true at the Masters. The only people inside the ropes at the Masters are the player and his caddy. Everybody else is outside the ropes. So right away, as a spectator, you're treated in a way that you're not accustomed to. And this is, I don't know if the story will make much sense. This goes back a few years ago. I went out down 18 early in the morning. I like to go out on the course and just sort of wander around the golf course. And as I'm walking down 18 fairway, I see these chalked boxes, gigantic rectangles painted on the ground. And I'm trying to figure what are these boxes on the side of the ground, and couldn't figure it out. And I actually asked a friend of mine here if he knew what was going on. He didn't know what I was talking about. And then I went out later on, and I saw that the people who came here with their chairs would go there, and they'd sit their stools down inside those boxes like reserve seats, and then they'd go out and watch some golf on the course, and they would come back, and their chair would be there, and they would have their position. That doesn't exist anywhere else. No. You don't have that kind of courtesy anywhere else. It's just the tradition of this place.
Yeah, it's special. And hey, there's still a golf tournament, and it started today. It appears as though these guys are attacking this course pretty well right now. It looks like there's a lot of folks under par. Big highlights we need to cover. First of all, Tiger is not there, Dan. And Rory McIlroy, boy, wouldn't it be a great injustice if he never wins one of these things? So they kind of are the start of the top two stories, correct?
Yeah, Tiger not being here, but there were a lot of big announcements about Tiger's involvement in this community. He's involved with reworking a course called, I think, the Cabbage Patch. He's involved with creating a youth center for education in this. Those were big announcements that were made early in the week. So, yeah, Tiger is still present, not physically present, but he was present in Masters Week. in those capacities. And then as far as Rory is concerned, the only thing I mean, I was here when Rory had the disaster, 10 years ago or whatever it might be, when he was first coming to the Masters. Everything lines up for him so well right now that almost scares me, I mean, he is the logical choice to win, not because Scotty Scheffler is not a great talent and the current champion, not because there's Xander Schauffele and all these other players, but Rory's the only one that has multiple wins on tour this year. He played well a couple of weeks ago. He won the Players' Championship within a month. Everything lines up correctly for him. So the big question is, and he has talked about it, Rory says he has learned from Scotty Scheffler about course management. He thinks better choices now than he did as recently as the U.S. Open last year at Pinehurst. And the question is, under the pressure he's feeling, and it's not just the pressure of winning the Masters, it's completing the career Grand Slam. It's winning the U.S. Open, the PGA, the British Open, and the Masters, which only like a handful of people have ever done. He's got that pressure on him. Will he still maintain that patience? And I think, quite honestly, his caddy, Harry, is going to be a major factor in keeping him in the moment, which he wasn't at Pinehurst. He got lost in the back nine, concentrating on Bryson DeChambeau. So I'll admit, I'm rooting for Rory.
Yeah,
I think all those things go together.
Yeah, and it would be one of the great injustices ever. I mean, one of the great things about the Masters is the tradition of the winners going back there, and Rory McIlroy deserves to be one of those. His performance and what he means to golf says that. Hey, you mentioned Bryson DeChambeau. There's a guy who's changing golf. Boy, all of my nieces, nephews, young people are caught up in Bryson DeChambeau. If he's got his game together, this is a course he could eat up, is it not?
It is. He's had success and failure at the same time. In the last 2 years, I think it is, last 4 years, he's only broken 70 twice, but one of them was last year when he shot 65 in the opening round. So he doesn't have a great deal. He finished sixth last year. That's his best ever showing. I'm a complete change on Bryson. When he came out and was brash and got beefed up and all that kind of stuff, I thought he was bad for the game. He was promoting the wrong things about the game, not damaging, but just all this distance and all this bravado. He's settled down and made himself into a 30-year-old human being that you can admire and respect. And it shows up in his game. I said that as much as we want to talk about Scotty Scheffler and we want to talk about Rory McIlroy, if you want a third name on the list, he has all of the things necessary to win at Augusta. And like I said, you said it correctly. I said to somebody yesterday, he owns the under 30 crowd in golf because of his YouTube channel. His stuff is great on YouTube, but you don't even have to be a golf fan to enjoy the stuff that Bryson does on the Golf Channel. So, yeah, he would be, and I think he will eventually be a Masters champion, whether it's this year or somewhere down the road. But I think this is a course that suits him very well.
He is Dan Reardon. He's down at Augusta National. He highlighted the top three to keep your eye on: Scheffler, McIlroy, and Bryson DeChambeau. I know our hearts are with Rory, but I don't know. I'm worried, Dan. I hope you have a great time down there at Augusta.
And by the way, if we talk about history here, if you look at the leaderboard at 1 under par, tied for seventh, Freddie Couples.
Isn't that awesome?
Really?
Yeah. Well, if you're a Masters champion, you have to keep coming back, and we always get something special of one of the old guys who can put it together for a round or two. And boy, there's no more influential guy. You know, he was the original, one of the original superstars there in the '80s. In Freddie.
That's awesome. Dan, thank you so much.
Enjoyed it.
All right. Have fun at Augusta. Dan Reardon, KMOX golf reporter. I will note this, Michael. I don't play golf. I can't do it. But between watching a little bit of golf and it being relaxing, I saw several episodes, maybe a handful, of is it Full Swing?
Yeah.
That's like Drive to Survive.
Uh-huh.
So then I got to know the guys like DeChambeau,
right.
Ricky Fowler. Poor Ricky Fowler. I feel like he's always like on that edge and then has a bad tournament. You know, Ricky Fowler, I knew Rory McIlroy, but some of the newer guys, Scotty Scheffler.
Sure.
So I watched Full Swing. Then you know the guys. Then you watch a tournament and you're hooked.
You're invested.
I'm invested now.
Emotionally invested.
Yes. And
Yeah.
just like you said with Rory McIlroy, you don't want to get excited, but you
Right.
hope you want good for the guy. I like Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
I like him. DeChambeau, I was like, I wasn't a fan. I don't know. he's an interesting character.
Well, his YouTube stuff, man, people are into it. And what Dan said, even if you're not into golf,
Yeah.
you ought to check it out. He goes and plays golf with everybody from John Daly to President Trump.
Yeah.
And it's not political. It's
Yeah.
talking golf, and he's relatable because he's young and he'll do anything. He's not your traditional golfer. Like, I gotta hold your arm this
Yeah.
way. You can do anything you want.
And that's the key is the personalities, having that emotional investment, having that relationship, right? Because you know the guys. I think that has what's set it up, taken it to the next level for me, because I don't want to say fell out of love with golf. It wasn't like I was in love with golf, but I lost the interest that I had when Tiger Woods was done.
Right.
Because when I was a kid, in high school, I mean, it was all Tiger Woods. I didn't play golf, but I watched Tiger. And then when he was done, I kind of lost interest.
Yeah.
But learning who the players are now, watching full swing, I'm invested.
Amy, I am so jealous of Dan Reardon. He said 38 times he's been to Augusta National. I'm here to tell you, even if you hated every moment of golf, if you ever get a chance to go to Augusta National, go, pay what's necessary, go and do it. You will never forget it.
I love it. Michael Kelley, Amy Markscore. Speaking of going somewhere and not missing your chance to go, here's what you need to do. You need to go to Fleet Feet and ask them to help you find the right Super Feet insoles. Yep, the same Fleet Feet that I used to work at years ago. I worked there for 5 years, fitting people for Super Feet insoles and shoes. I have been wearing Super Feet since 2006. So almost 20 years. I wear the green ones, the high arches. They have some for low arches. They have softer ones. They have some for more custom fit. The fine folks at Fleet Feet will fit you up. If you happen to go to the Chesterfield location and see Christine, tell her I said hi. I used to work with Christine. But there are 5 area locations: St. Charles, Chesterfield, Des Peres, South County, and O'Fallon, Missouri. And what's so great about the Super Feet insoles, not only do they help you if you're dealing with plantar fasciitis, knee pain, or back pain, but they do not cost hundreds of dollars. Mine cost $60. $60 for my green Super Feet. I wear them all the time. Again, Fleet Feet Sports, St. Charles, Chesterfield, Des Peres, South County, and O'Fallon.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
At California Psychics, we know that when you haven't found love, it feels like everyone else has. Every movie has a love interest. Every song is a love song. Where are all the songs about cats? Well, the joy of early bedtime. And of course, the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to help you find the one. We connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So you could be feeling all lovey-dovey real soon. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
This May, the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup is coming back to St. Louis. Join us at Energizer Park for the round of 32 as St. Louis City SC plays for this historic trophy. Get tickets now at stlcity.com/Open Cup.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
You asked, we delivered. KMOX, now on FM. Crystal clear sound at 104.1 FM.
So earlier in the show, I admitted that
Stepped in it is what you did.
I stepped in it. Well, I stepped in it months ago.
Mhm.
I'm just showing you now. See the bottom of my shoe? Listen, I am wrong all the time. I disagree with myself all the time, I should say.
Ditto.
Because I do try very hard to bring receipts, like when it comes to facts. I don't want to say I'm wrong about facts. I always want to have receipts. What I'm saying is my opinion's wrong.
Right.
So my opinion was wrong. And I initially thought David Freese shouldn't be in the Cardinals Hall of Fame. And now I totally disagree with myself. I think he single-handedly revolutionized the way, transformed the way we think of Game 6. He helped give us the greatest moment, maybe the greatest moment in Cardinals history, one of the greatest in Major League Baseball history. And I think I'm wrong, and we wanted to hear from you.
This is a voice message from Lucas.
Hey, love the discussion on David Freese Hall of Fame. I think it's an interesting one. My thought, I kind of agree that the way the Cardinals Hall of Fame is looked at now almost diminishes the red jacket discussion and the history of those things. Not that anybody in the Cardinals Hall of Fame had a bad career, but when you say the red jackets are for the Cooperstown Hall of Famers, what if, are there any thoughts, or what are your thoughts on keeping the red jackets for the Cooperstown Hall of Famers and having the Cardinals Hall of Famers just be designated as Cardinals Hall of Famers and not get a red jacket? Does that change the mindset on the Cardinals Hall of Fame at all? Would be interested to hear your thoughts.
That's an interesting thought, because as the reason why I initially was against David Freese in the Hall of Fame is because when I looked at the red jackets and I saw Bob Gibson and Lou Brock and Stan Musial, I didn't put David Freese's career with theirs.
Uh-huh.
However, it is different than the Cooperstown Hall of Fame. It is the Cardinals Hall of Fame. Jack Buck's in that Hall of Fame.
Right.
So we have, broadcasters. You brought up that like Matt Morris was such a great player.
Right.
But most people don't necessarily put his name with Stan Musial and Lou
Famers,
Brock.
yes,
Yeah.
right.
So the Cardinals Hall of Fame is distinct from Cooperstown. I don't know if I'd want to do
Different colored
what
jackets.
what if you did red jackets, but you had a Cooperstown patch? Like if you were in the
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know that it's necessary.
So you could do like a white jacket with red, outlines for the true Hall of Famers. But back when I was a kid, and I have to confess, I don't know what it was for this opening day.
Mhm.
But the true Hall of Famers, this was before the Cardinal Hall of Fame, they used to come in either Mustangs or Corvettes on opening day, while the rest of the team came in the trucks. And that was the one difference, because that's what I associate with the Hall of Famers as opening day. And now there's 20 of them out there, Jim Edmonds, at one to all the way down to Matt Morris who just went in. So maybe, but I don't think you can do away with the red jacket.
No.
You gotta have the red jacket.
Yeah, you got to have the red jacket. So maybe you put a patch, a Cooperstown patch. We have a 314. It says Amy finally came around. No, it's true. I disagreed with myself.
Yeah.
I disagreed with myself.
That happens
From
regularly, doesn't it?
It happens way too much.
Yeah.
Listen, buddy, here's what I want to say. 4 hours a day was a lot every day, and I'm trying my best.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
trying to have opinions, man. Can we? Oh, here we go. 314. The MLB Hall of Fame, Hall of Famers, HOFers have a Hall of Fame pin that they wear.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, maybe make it real big.
Yeah. Well, I don't, it is what it is, but they only put the Hall of Famers out on the wall. Do we still put the Hall of Famers on the wall? Is it still out there in left field?
No, those are
on the
retired
wall?
numbers.
They got rid of those too?
Wait,
Those are just the
those are
retired numbers.
Cooperstown.
Yeah, but if you're
they've got their pictures on the left field wall. Those are
Yeah.
the retired numbers who are also the
Cooperstown.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Which is different than a red jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better. This is a voice message from the Two-Lane Rambler on the Odyssey app.
Okay, Amy. He doesn't deserve a red jacket, so let's have a category of pink jackets that are to a lesser degree also important. There you go. There's your compromise.
Well, What if we did a whole spectrum of like the dark red? It's like Hall of Fame Cooperstown. And then like one jacket looks like you just accidentally washed it with a Hall of Famer's jacket, right?
Yeah.
And now it's a little pink. A whole spectrum.
I can't see David Freese, one of the great Cardinals. In fact, some of my friends think he should have been in the Hall of Fame, but a local radio gal killed it. Would be wearing a pink jacket. I can't see it.
Well, they're very in. You know what it's called? It's called Nantucket Red.
Nantucket Red?
That's what the preppy people call it. You know that brand of vineyard vines?
Uh-huh.
I believe it's called Nantucket Red.
Oh, well, I do say then.
I'm surprised you don't know this.
Red.
It's out on the golf course a lot.
Didn't John Hancock wear one to a wedding?
Yeah. Oh,
a pink blazer?
Yeah, he wore a pink. We got to talk to him about that tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
He went to that Palm Beach wedding, and he
Yes.
wore a pink blazer. He actually sent me the photo, but I'll save it for tomorrow for you all to check it out.
So this is a different wedding than the one he officiated.
Yeah, no, he also officiated. No, he calls me for the wedding.
Yeah.
That he's officiating in Kansas City. It's going to be cold. And he says, Kelley, I left my long underwear at home. And I was like, well, first of all, you're an old man if you have long underwear. Who even has that? And whatever. And he says, but what should I do? I said, where are you staying? He says, I'm on the plaza. I said, walk down to Lululemon and buy yourself a pair of tight little leggings. He said to me, he goes, that's ridiculous. That's a girl's shop. He shows up at a place the other day and he says to me, he goes, Tuesday night, election night, I run into him. He goes, I got my long underwear from Lululemon underneath my pants. I said, isn't that sporting of you? Pink blazers and Lululemon pants.
We're talking about
What's
that.
next for Hancock?
We're talking about that tomorrow. Make a note. He's Michael Kelley. I'm Amy Mark. Scores when we come back. St. Louis Battlehawks running back Jacob Sailors joins us.
Experience the exhilarating atmosphere of a Cardinals game. Join the sea of red in the wave around the stadium. Feel the rush of excitement as a home run lights up the sky with fireworks, bringing the whole ballpark to their feet. Nothing beats the thrill of watching the Cards get the W with the final out at the plate. It's more than a game. It's an experience. Visit Cardinals.com for tickets and info. St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Game tickets? Check.
A round of cold beers? Check.
Ballpark hot dogs? Check.
Baseball is back, and nothing beats a night out with the guys.
Or ladies.
At a Cardinals game.
From thrilling games and mouthwatering eats, the iconic ballpark energy, Busch Stadium is the ultimate spot for you and your crew to dive into America's favorite pastime.
Make your next night out the best one yet. Join us at Busch Stadium, where every hour is happy.
For tickets, visit Cardinals.com.
St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Big news. In 2025, Social Security will increase by 2.5%. Is that really big news? What does that mean for your retirement wallet? And now for the really tough questions. When and how should you claim your Social Security benefit? How does it fit into your financial future? There are several claiming options, and you don't want to leave money on the table. That's why it's important to work with a professional like Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group. Join Steve for an exclusive Social Security presentation at the All Financial Group office Wednesday, April 16th. This event is complimentary, but you do need to reserve your spot today. Call 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824, or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. All Financial Group is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the U.S. government or any other government agency.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate, paid for by Bayer.
Community America Credit Union has a new branch in Hazelwood. Join me, Amy Mark Scores, special Cardinals alumni, and Fred Bird on April 10th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for the grand opening. There'll be exciting prizes and delicious food. See you there.
The easiest way to park on game day is to park with iParkit. iParkit has the best game day parking garages in St. Louis. iParkit has 2 convenient garages on Clark Avenue, located right next door on either side of the ballpark. The iPark at Game Day garages have multiple entry and exits to accommodate all fans, no matter where you're coming from or headed to after the game. Download the iPark app and drive in and out using only your license plate. Use iPark for convenience and peace of mind on game day.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Well, it's warming up in downtown St. Louis, currently 64 degrees, and it feels like 64 degrees, but the clouds are rolling in. There could be some spotty, scattered thunderstorms this afternoon. A high of 70 degrees. Tomorrow, a bit cooler, 59 degrees and partly cloudy, but Saturday, that's the day, 65 degrees, no rain, mostly sunny. Weather sponsored by Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Sell your home with trust, confidence, and written guarantees. Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty is St. Louis's real estate expert. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Chris Ranchi, Amy Mark scores because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
319, reset. They hand it off again. Sailors into the end zone for the touchdown. And the Battlehawks strike first.
The highlight from your St. Louis Battlehawks, courtesy of Fox. And Jacob Sailors, St. Louis Battlehawks running back, he rushed for 3 touchdowns this past Sunday to tie the UFL record for most touchdowns in a game and set the Battlehawks record for most rushing touchdowns in a single game. He's second in the league in rushing. He was all UFL last year, and things are looking good for Jacob Sailors, who joins us now. Jacob, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day today to chat with us.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for having me on.
So you have a game like the one you had this past Sunday, rushing for 3 touchdowns. Going into a game like that, did you know that you felt on that day, or did the momentum kind of pick up as the game went on?
You know, going into a game, you never really know if it's going to be your day or not. Kind of one of my mottos is leave no doubt. So I kind of take the same approach to each game. Whether, you know, the good things happen, there's bound to be bad things, you know, just making sure I just capitalize on every opportunity that I get to help my team. And sometimes it looks like scoring 3 touchdowns. Sometimes it looks like, you know, no touchdowns, but I'm still doing my job at the end of the day.
So after the first touchdown, does the momentum and confidence start to build as the game goes on?
Absolutely, I do think so. Not necessarily for me, but from a team point of view and an offensive point of view, that first touchdown, yeah, it kind of gets the gears going, the wheels turning, and this offense is a lot of fun to be a part of. We got a great group of coaches, so you know our goal is to, you know, put up as many score as many points as possible. You know, we want to break the scoreboard.
Oh, I love it. Well, how is it playing at the Dome? Like, just seeing the attendance that St. Louis football fans have, because I mean, you know our history with everything that happened with the NFL, but St. Louis loves football, and the fans show up for Battlehawks games.
Absolutely. It makes home games so much more sweeter. There's always been a sweet feeling to have a home game, but in this league, with us having that dome in the host city of St. Louis, it takes it up another notch that some guys that come in, the first year guys that don't, they're not sure what to expect until, you know, you get thrown into the dome, you hear the crowd, the chants, all of that stuff. It's a very exciting place to play, and I'm just blessed to be a Battlehawk at the end of the day.
Jacob, what year of playing are you in the UFL? How many years you been doing it?
This is my second year in the UFL. Been playing football since I was 5, though, so it's been a long journey.
And is it as fast paced as it was for you in college, or is it just that more fast now that you're in the UFL?
I don't think necessarily at my position, it's not necessarily faster. I just feel like the margin of error is very slim when it goes to like, your step, like your left step or your right step. First, little details like that kind of get exposed in this league. But yeah, it's the same game that I've been playing for, 20 plus years.
You mentioned that you started when you were 5. When did you know, at what stage of playing football did you realize you had what it takes to be a running back?
Honestly, it's one of those things where I come from a small city, went to a small college, so I naturally have always had this chip on my shoulder. So to me, every day, I go out there, even at practice, every game, with something to prove, something not necessarily to prove to other people. I don't necessarily do this for other people, more so for myself and for all the coaches and mentors that have helped me get to this point. I do it for them.
You mentioned being from a small town, Jasper, Tennessee. Are you? That's got to be fun, like being the pride of Jasper, Tennessee, having such a successful career in football.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Every time I go back home, my city in Jasper shows so much love, and my favorite part is getting out there. I'll just show up to a high school practice or like a little league game, and these kids don't necessarily know who I am, but their parents are like, "Hey, yeah, he went here and he plays on TV and stuff," and it enlightens me. It keeps me motivated and pushes me, whenever things get rough and stuff. It's a very, very satisfying feeling that I continue to crave. It's one of those things I want to help those kids just prove that, hey, yeah, we're from this small town. The people that are here are still here from 50 years ago, but that doesn't mean that you can't go out there and explore. And I mean, this past weekend when we traveled to St. Louis, we were staying in like Clayton last year, and this year we're staying downtown. So it was really my first opportunity to see, St. Louis as a city. And like me, country boy, small town, like I was overjoyed. I'm like, oh my goodness, look at all these skyscrapers and everything. It's fun, that city feel, and I love it.
Were you? I guess, were you worried at all by worried's not the right word, but it's so different the way the UFL operates, right? Where you practice in Texas, everyone practices there and then flies to their hometowns. Was that kind of an adjustment for you guys as players?
Somewhat, I will say there are some adjustment factors that go into it. But for me, I'm such a, just take it on how I get, roll with the punches. So it hasn't necessarily hindered me at all. But the biggest thing for me, I love community service and interacting with the community that supports us, show that same support to the community. So that's the biggest thing to me is I wish we were in St. Louis because I would love to get out there, interact with the fans more often and things like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's a lot of fun. Well, going back to post-college, the beginning of your professional career, signed by the Cincinnati Bengals as an undrafted free agent, later spent time with the Atlanta Falcons practice squad. How did those experiences help shape you as a player?
Yeah, and the most beneficial experience was definitely that practice squad experience. The first time being in an NFL building during the season, seeing these vets, how they approach, game weeks is a lot different from training camp. So to be able to see some of those professionals, I was around, guys that were in the league for 15 up to, pushing 20 years with Calais Campbell, and just seeing the type of professionalism that they approach every single thing, whether it's walkthrough, workout, how they carry themselves in the building, little things like that is what I feel like contribute to me the most in today.
Yeah. What about when you do come to St. Louis? You mentioned it being a big city. Have you had a chance to go to a Cardinals game or a Blues game yet while you're here?
I have not. No, I haven't got the invite yet, but I'm definitely very much looking forward to it. I'm a baseball guy, so I'd love to get out there and check out the Cardinals firsthand.
Did you play baseball growing up?
Yeah, baseball was actually my first love when it came to sports.
Really? How did you ever consider pursuing a professional career in baseball like you did with football?
In high school, I reached a point going into my senior year where my baseball coach told me, he was like, "You have an opportunity if you want to play college baseball. It won't be like, a huge school, but if you want it, it's there." And I told him, I was like, I would love to do it, but football is where I see myself being most successful at. And it's led me here. So I feel like I'm happy with the choice still to this day.
Michael, can you imagine being talented enough at two sports where
No.
you have to choose, like, well, what path? I'm like mediocre at best at anything that I do. Like, I'm okay. So I think that's so amazing, the talent of professional athletes and how it's just a different level, Jacob, that you guys are operating at where you're playing professional football. But yeah, you could consider baseball for a while. That's insane. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I'm not by any means on like Bo Jackson or Kyler Murray's level, but yeah, I was okay.
You know what? Okay, this is a totally different question. It's like for parents. But Jacob, so you played multiple sports. Do you know how so many young kids these days, they're focusing on one sport and that's all they do all year round? Would you say that playing multiple sports helped you become the athlete that you are?
Without a doubt. And there was actually a study, I think when I was in college, somebody came in and gave it to us. I think it was somewhere around 80% of NFL players that were active played multi sports in high school. So I think that stat alone says a lot. But to me, I feel like those multiple sports, there's different cultures. As weird as it may seem, like football has a different culture in the locker room than like a baseball team does. So it not only adds to like your interpersonal skills, but also like just the athleticism, the hand-eye coordination, the mental aspect of baseball and what that can carry over to football. And I played basketball, so I'm not going to get into that because I was a terrible hooper, but the conditioning from that sport carries over to everything. And it's a lot to gain, as well as for, like you said, these kids that play, one sport. At that age, you really don't even know, some of your strengths or even your likes, So I think that as a parent, you owe it to your kids to like at least open those avenues to them, because you would never know what's behind the door if you don't at least peek behind it.
That is such a great point. Well, Jacob Sailors, running back for the St. Louis Battlehawks, your next game, April 13th, 3 days from now, 2 p.m. The DC Defenders are in town at the Dome to take on the Battlehawks, and I believe it's the Blue Masquerade game. So all the fans going, wear your best Battlehawks blue. What do you want to tell fans who might be thinking about going to this game this weekend?
Definitely show out. You're gonna miss a great game. We're preparing to the best of our ability to put on a show for y'all and bring home that dub. So if you're not there, you're square. But I'm looking forward to seeing y'all all Sunday.
I love
Good
it.
for you, brother.
Jacob Sailors, St. Louis Battlehawks running back again just this past Sunday, tying the UFL record for most touchdowns in a game. He set the Battlehawks record for most rushing touchdowns in a single game. He's second in the league in rushing. You got to come see and cheer on Jacob Sailors. We appreciate your time, Jacob.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a blessed day. Go Hawks.
Yeah, that's right. Caw-caw, right?
Caw-caw.
I love it. Jacob Sailors. Again, the Battlehawks at the Dome at the Americas Center, April 13th, taking on the DC Defenders. He's Michael Kelley. I'm Amy Mark Scores. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
This May, the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup is coming back to St. Louis. Join us at Energizer Park for the round of 32 as St. Louis City SC plays for this historic trophy. Get tickets now at stlcity.com/Open Cup.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is, who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist, Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050, and have a Banner Day.
Spring is here. Time for daffodils and road construction. Do your part to avoid a work zone crash. Pay attention, slow down, put the phone down while driving so we can all go home safe. Join the 11th Annual St. Louis Work Zone Awareness 5K, Saturday, April 19th in Chesterfield. Sign up today at kingmox.com/events. That's kingmox.com/events. Brought to you by the Missouri Coalition of Roadway Safety.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. If you have exposed brick or stone in your garage, basement, or fireplace, this would be a great time to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. The Morelli team can work 12 months a year on the inside of your home. Tuck pointing is the removal and replacement of old and missing mortar on a wall or chimney. When you tuck point your home, you strengthen your structure, you prevent water damage, and you add value to your property. The Morelli team is expert at matching the color of the new mortar to the color of the old mortar. And I know because the Morellis have tuck pointed patios, walls, and chimneys at 2 of our homes here in St. Louis. Morelli is a recipient of the Better Business Bureau Torch Award and the Angie's List Super Service Award every year since 2005. You can also research their reviews on the Google, Angie's List, and Better Business Bureau websites. Morelli Tuck Pointing at 314-645-1387 or MorelliTuckPointing.com.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Here's another satisfied customer of 3-Day Kitchen and Bath, Anita Bennett.
When I first heard about 3-Day Kitchen and Bath, I thought, there's no way they could do a good job in 3 days, and they must carry only the plain Jane basics in cabinets, countertops, and flooring. Then they came to our house, and we found out they offered top quality materials with tons of choices and lots of custom options. They worked with us to design a bathroom that was perfect for our family. They looked at our needs and thought of details I hadn't even considered. The installation was clean, thorough, and professional, and they were done in just 3 days. When we got back from the hotel, I couldn't believe the difference. The bathroom is beautiful.
See us on the web at 3daykitchen.com.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me, 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
What's today? It's Thursday. Really? Feels like Tuesday.
It is Thursday, which is the
Song
Friday
around.
of the weekdays. Or basically it's the weekend because you mail it in on Friday, right? You got to just mail it in.
That's when Hancock and Kelley come in. We come in and carry the weight for you
do.
and Amy.
Or
for you and Chris.
Yeah.
You are Amy.
I am Amy.
Do you think Chris will be here tomorrow, or do you think he's going to continue to
I don't know.
pull I got a sore throat.
He's fine.
Poor fella.
All right. We got a text from a 636. I love this without context. It's raining in Baldwin. So
Well.
heads up. Heads
Oh, it's
up,
good to
it is
know.
raining in Baldwin.
It's raining, man.
And I will say it has gotten significantly cloudier. It is all cloudy downtown. It was sunny when we started the show. The clouds have rolled in.
I have a feeling this is going to be one of those years. I'm not what do they call that almanac deal? Farmer almanac guy, but I feel like we're due for floods. It's been a long time since we've had floods.
Gotcha.
They've
I
been
think
rising.
it's funny that
The
maybe
creek's been rising.
some girl decides not to go on a date and go like that. Michael Kelley, he's too much of a farmer's almanac guy. It's not going to work out.
That would be on a long list of things that they would probably be talking about, but they could get their drugs in Mexico.
Okay, I have a if you want.
That's a reference to an earlier conversation on the show. If you want, go back on the Odyssey app and you can hear it.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah,
That's
no
right.
worries.
And the podcast.
You
don't want to miss
Chris and
today's
Amy,
show.
the podcast. You can listen to Kelley and Mark's course.
That's right.
Talk
about
with
anything.
Limited commercial of an eruption.
All right, I have one more golf comment.
Here it is. Hello, friends.
I love watching golf.
Yes.
It's relaxing, brings my cortisol levels down. I feel at peace. But as a whole, golf offends me.
Oh.
Yeah, because I am so effort-based. I don't have a lot of skills. I get it. People probably listening going, you shouldn't have this job. I agree. But I work hard and I try hard. And that's why I'm a runner. Because you need no skill in running. All you have to do is show up and work hard and try hard. And golf offends me because you can't try hard at golf.
Yes, you can try hard.
No, it's all skill. You can't swing harder and putt harder and go, I'm going to putt as hard as I can.
You had a bad experience whenever you had your first outing of golf. Because golf really is in line with the ethics and the modality of Amy Mark's course. And let me explain why. This is a game where it's based on self-honor, doing the right thing.
Not lying.
Etiquette, worrying about making sure you're not holding up others up. You know what I mean? Like not violating the law, which is a big concern of yours. So everybody there is out there, attending. Yeah. First of all, there's nice outfits.
No, they are unflattering.
No,
if you see me if you saw me in a pair of Bermuda shorts, you would
Amy,
be like,
but I could
home,
see you
Grandma.
in a golf skirt and a golf shirt.
I look like a doofus.
Yes, you would look very nice in golf clothing.
Boy, thank you.
Nobody gets rowdy, out of control. When you clap, there's no hooting and hollering. It's it's a nice, gentle clap. It's right up your alley. I have a feeling that this sport probably most fits your modality.
So, to Michael's point, those are excellent points.
Thank you.
I am uptight. I'm a rule follower.
True that.
I'm a relatively conservative dresser. And all of those things, being honest, what do you do when no one's looking? That's your true character. That matters. Michael is so right on all of those things.
Retract your blasphemy.
Except the effort. I need to be able to try hard and go, Amy, I will run myself into the ground, but that doesn't get you anywhere in golf.
Amy, I want you to spend some time looking at Bryson DeChambeau and Rory McIlroy. I mean, these guys are well-conditioned, world-class athletes who are trying hard. You could do this. It would be better on your feet, and you'd look better doing it.
But aren't you supposed to relax when you swing a golf club?
Aren't you supposed to relax when you're in mile 14 of 26? Yeah, you got to kind of lower your blood pressure, focus on your breathing. It's similar, same. World-class athlete.
You make excellent point.
Oh my gosh, I'd like to be your caddy.
I'll die on this hill, but you do make excellent points.
Of course I do.
What do you wear under the caddy outfit when it's hot?
I'll wear it tomorrow. I have I have the caddy jumpsuit I bought for my permanent Halloween costume. I wore it every year. Got my name on it. I always say I'm a caddy at the Masters.
I love it.
That's
Please
much
wear it
better than what
tomorrow.
I used to be. I used to go as a Republican. What could be more scary than that?
Wear it tomorrow. Michael, I got an update. Remember the 636? It's raining in Baldwin.
Mm-hmm.
Chaos. Another text. I live in Baldwin. It's not raining here.
Oh. Well, maybe it's raining in Webster. It's coming down that I-44 corridor.
Oh, Michael,
I love getting to do this
You're
with
the
you.
best. This is so much fun. We want to Want to do it again tomorrow?
For a little while. Just a couple minutes.
He's Michael Kelley. I'm Amy Mark Scores. The Dave Glover Show is next, but this is
Gas House Gang is
the Gas House name is next.
Well, we're going to do the
And
Gas
then
House
the
Gang?
Glover Show. Oh my gosh,
Here
I
comes
forgot.
Tom and Bernie and the boys.
I better go. Thanks for listening to the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. I don't even know why I have this job. Why am I here? Like, this is how I feel. Like, what am I doing? Why am I sitting in front of this microphone? I'm an idiot.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I've been asked many times